Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good evening. We got some breaking news. This is the craziest thing I ever thought I'd ever did see with my own two eyes. I can't believe this. Man, I dropped everything, ran into this mug to give you guys this breaking news. This is the craziest thing, and I'm telling you right now, wow. Okay. We got to jump right into this. We got some breaking news, guys, just so you guys know. And if you don't know about this, former President Trump, okay, has been, there was an attempt on his life, long story short, during a rally that he was having in Pennsylvania, if I'm gathering all the information correctly. Secret Service rushed to the stage. And of course, we are understanding that he's okay, but we got some questions. I have some questions. So we got to get right into this. Please do me a favor. You know, this is a huge breaking news. So please hop on in here, hit that like button down below, crush it, do what you need to do, hit that reaction button, all that stuff. If you're watching on Facebook or any other platforms right now, if you are watching on those other platforms, please be sure to crush that follow button on my Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, all those social media platforms. Show some love, show some support, and become a follower over there. Do not forget to crush that subscribe button over on my main channel, The Pascal Show, here on YouTube. That'd be greatly appreciated. Go check out my secondary channel as well, The Pascal Show Clips. Hit that join button, become a member. Check out my Patreon. It's patreon.com/The Pascal Show. It's on the ticker down below me right now as we speak, going that way right now as we speak. Show up, show out, show some support. It'd be great to have you a part of the Pascal Show family. Okay, guys, we have got to get into this. Now, this is some very shocking and very surprising breaking news. Like I said, didn't know this was going to go down, but it did go down this afternoon. Former President Donald J. Trump almost lost his life during a rally today in Pennsylvania. Now, here's the thing. This is an actual photo. I'm not lying. This is an actual photo of him after shots were fired at him. During his usual regular rally, he's doing his thing. Allegedly, they say there was pop sounds of popping that went off, and Secret Service, as you see, look at this guy looking like he's the agent from the Matrix, you know what I mean? Mr. Anderson. But anyway, they rushed up to the stage after pop sounds were made. He got back up. They're trying to escort him off the stage, and you could see red on his face. Now, they're wondering if maybe, just maybe, his ear caught a bullet or something. People are still trying to understand what exactly happened here. They're thinking that this was an attempt on his life. We don't know everything, but we are going to be going to this breaking news information from Fox, who is actually covering this, and they show some footage here as well. I'm going to stop talking. We're going to get straight into the meat and potatoes. This is some crazy stuff. I kind of just started it in the middle of this live stream from Fox because they are covering this right now. This is absolutely insane. So please be sure, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's get into this conversation.
Feeling is in this room tonight. The warmth that makes our community so special. And to Joe and Sharon, thank you for all of your work to celebrate our heritage and elevate Italian-American stories here in Pittsburgh and across the country. So buonasera, everyone. It's great to be with all of you. Not only because of my Italian roots, but also because I can't help but feel home state pride whenever I'm in Pennsylvania.
Hold on real quick, okay, guys? I'm going to scoot it up just a little bit because that's not what we're here for. Of course, we've heard all that stuff, but let's check this out.
We are seeing the former
There we
president
go.
to some supporters at this rally. Let's go ahead and take this entire image full for you as he greets all of those supporters. This is the first time that we're hearing him speak since President Biden spoke at that NATO summit. Remember, he delivered that address on Thursday night, and it was a big moment for the president, who is trying to regain the confidence of his own Democratic Party after the first presidential debate. Growing calls from Democrats across the country for Biden to drop from this race. Of course, Biden says that he will not drop. He will be on the ticket come November 2024 when voters head to the polls. Today, we are going to be hearing from Trump and see what he has to say. The Republican National Convention happening this Monday, so very soon now, and we are expecting that the former president is going to announce who his vice presidential pick is going to be, who is going to be his running mate there on the ticket. All eyes are on that as we continue on with the latest political headlines. Remember, we are in an election year, so we're going to be showcasing a lot of these campaign events all throughout the rest of 2024 into November for that big election. Usually Trump, he does this, likes to greet those supporters, likes to convene with everybody that has turned out here to this event in Pennsylvania. It seems he's about to speak. Let's listen.
This is a big crowd. This is a big, beautiful crowd. I wish the fake news back there would show it. I wish they'd spin their cameras and show it, because nobody would believe it. You know, the other day, Biden was saying, I've got big crowds, meaning him. He gets big crowds. He doesn't know what a big... And there were like 93 people there. 93, you know what that is? That's where the front row Joes sit, right here, 93. We got more than 93 front row Joes. Hello, Butler, and hello to Pennsylvania. I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful Commonwealth with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots, and that's what you are, and we got to bring our country back to health, because our country is going to hell, if you haven't noticed. Millions and millions of people are pouring in from prisons and from mental institutions. We're going to stop it. We're going to get it stopped. We're going to bring them back. As he said, we're going to bring them back. We're going to deport. With the help of everyone here tonight, we're going to win Pennsylvania this November. We're going to defeat crooked Joe Biden and laughing Kamala Harris. And we're going to take back the White House, and we're going to take back our country. We're going to take it back. Our country's been stolen from us. You see that? It's the greatest, one of the greatest crimes is what they've done over 4 years, and hiding what the obvious facts are, isn't it? Huh? Isn't it a shame? You run for the president of the United States from a basement. All very dishonest stuff, but you know, we're going to have the greatest election. I tell you what, we did fantastically in 2016. We did much better in 2020. You know, we did much better. And it was rigged. It was a rigged deal, but we did much better. But it's nothing compared to the enthusiasm all over, not just in Pennsylvania, all over. There's nothing compared to the enthusiasm that we've seen over the last year. Because, I mean, a year, think of it, year and a half ago it started. It really started from immediately after the election. You want to know the truth? But a year and a half ago, we were seeing crowds of people desperate to have rallies, desperate to have anything to take back our country. And we're going to take it back. Next week, the Republican Party will hold its convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And 5 days from now, we will officially accept the Republican nomination for president of the United States. right? And we're going to get a good senator. I'll tell you, you have a real stiff right now in office. He's a stiff. You know, your current senator, I never met him. I don't think I've ever met him. I was only there 4 years, but I don't think I ever met him. I'll tell you, that's your senator. He votes with Biden or whoever happens to be furthest left. We got to get him elected. McCormick. We got to get McCormick, press McCormick. He's a good man, too. He's a valiant fighter. He's a great, great gentleman. So we're going to bring him up for can we bring him up for a couple of minutes later, a little bit later? All right. You get ready, McCormick. You get ready. I'll get you up here. The world will see a vibrant Republican Party that is bigger, stronger, more confident, and more united than ever before. And that's what we are. We're the most united party now. I'm watching the fake news go crazy because they're saying the Republican Party has not been united since Ronald Reagan like it is right now. It was united under Ronald Reagan the second time. It was very united. And they said there's never been anything like it. They've never seen a movement like this. Make America great again. You know, Joe Biden talks about we have to stop MAGA. MAGA means make America great again, Joe. It means make America great again. That's all we want to do. If he was doing the job, I wouldn't even be doing this. I'd be at some beautiful place with a gorgeous ocean, the Mediterranean, the Atlantic, maybe the Pacific. Thank you. Thank you. Instead, I'm here with you fighting like hell to get a senator elected and to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it. And it's not easy because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people, criminals. We have criminals. We have drug dealers. We have people that should not be here. And it's much tougher than if it happened. We had the strongest border ever. In recorded history, we had the best border. In fact, if they could ever put up a chart, I don't know if they can do it. Do you guys have access to that chart that I love so much? You don't mind if I go off teleprompter, do you?
No.
These teleprompters are so damn boring. I try to explain that. Oh, there's it. Wow. You guys are doing it. They're getting better with time. My guys, take a look at that chart. Take a look at the arrow on the bottom. See the big red arrow, right? So that's when I left office. That was the lowest point, and that comes right from the government services, comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look what happened.
There it is. Bang. Wow. 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 Yo.
We're watching here.
Have mercy.
Happening over in Pennsylvania, and it seems like popping sounds over in the background. We've had the Secret Service members kind of have former President Donald Trump duck there from the podium. I'm going to pump up the audio so we can keep listening into this happening right now.
Get ready. You ready? Are we good? Shooters down. Are we good to move? We're clear. We're clear. Let's move. We're clear. Come on. Let me get my shoes. I got you, sir. Let me get my shoes, sir. Hold on, your head is bloody. So we got to move to the bus. Let me get my shoes. Okay, watch out.
Wow, guys. Now, of course, there's going to be things going on, and I see a bunch of you guys in the chat thinking that this is fake news, that this was staged and all that. I don't know about all that. Okay, I'm just reading you guys' comments and everything, and I got to be honest. That is a very scary situation, regardless. For anybody who's watching and seeing it with their own, with their own two eyes, like this is some pretty scary stuff. I'm not going to lie. Now, and I agree, this is insane. This is everything that you could possibly believe and more. Okay, but let's hear what they got to say here.
At this moment, a few of those people in the crowd having their middle fingers pointed to the screen, but we are monitoring this situation very closely. The former president being escorted from this over in Butler, Pennsylvania, where he was hosting this rally. And you did hear moments ago a popping sound. You saw the former president duck down behind the podium. You saw Secret Service members step up there, shield the president, and escort him to safety at this moment. We don't know if this event is going to continue on after all of that, but we do have some live reporters there on the ground. I want to go ahead and take their shot as they are reporting there live from the event over in Butler, Pennsylvania. Let's go ahead and listen to this.
And we're not sure exactly where those shots came from at this point. We're trying to figure it out, but to hear that and then see the president fall down there on that stage, I can't put into words how shocking it was to the people in the crowd. And to me, as you're trying to figure out if you're okay, what's going on, was he shot, was he wounded? Then we heard him on the microphone, Shannon, saying, "Let me grab my shoes," as they tried to take him off. So we're just trying to figure out what happened. I got him. Nobody they can't hear my name. What?
Okay, so here what we're taking a look at once again is a live report down there on the ground in Butler, Pennsylvania, where we did hear some shots in the background of this event for former President Donald Trump hosting this rally, speaking to his supporters there. We do have a reporter. I'm going to keep pumping up the audio. It does seem that they're doing a live report for Fox News. Let's listen in and see if they have any more developments to share.
I'm gonna mute this really quick. I will say that this is no good. This is not good news. Okay, clearly this is not good news. Any person that's has their life threatened in any type of fashion is good or is bad. I'm sorry. No matter which way you look at it, right? This is not good at all. Okay. Period. All right. If this happened to Biden or if this happened to Trump, it doesn't matter. It's still very, very bad. Now, I know some people believe that this is just some sort of, this is fake. I don't know about all that. I'm just looking at this and seeing this with my own two eyes for the very first time. Like I didn't see the attempt until I saw it with you guys with my own two eyes. I've read some articles and all that, which is still extremely shocking and surprising nonetheless that this even happened. But I do have a few questions because I keep wondering if shots were actually fired. Because if you see right here, he kind of hits his ear. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? And then he goes down and then he's down for a while. Then he gets up and his face is, kind of there's blood trickling down his face and all that stuff. Now, if this was bullets, right? And one grazed his ear, where is that bullet now? Because that bullet didn't just stop in his ear. It went past his ear, right? So I keep wondering, where did the bullets go, right? They also said that they did take down the monster that tried to do this, right? So that's also information that they said as well. So for those of y'all who are thinking that this could be fake, I think that there's going to be some things that can be answered here very soon. There is speculation. I'm looking on the Twitters, okay, on X. Some people are saying that this is a BB gun, that this is somebody used a BB gun, right? I don't know. It could be like someone just mentioned. I think it was my boy T that also said this could be a small caliber rifle that was used. That's possible too. I don't know, but it's very interesting. I thought that and it also depends on where the person, the assailant is, where he was actually placed, where he tried to pull the trigger. That's the other question as well. Where was he? Because if he was on the grounds in that area, don't they pat everybody down? Don't they do a security check so that, former President Trump's life is in safety? I mean, that's what I would automatically think. But those are the questions that I have as well. I got an article here. We're going to look at that here in a second. But let's hear a little bit from Fox News here, too.
Green here as shots heard, but we have not had a confirmation on what that noise was. So we are going to continue to refer to it as popping noises. You did just hear it there on the screen. That is what we heard. But of course, out of an abundance of caution, the Secret Service rushed to the stage there in order to protect the former president. He ducked behind the podium. We do still have a live look out at that event. I'd like to bring it up here just so we can continue to monitor this situation. The crowd is dispersing at the moment, and we do see that we have a reporter on the ground there for Fox News, hopefully providing some more commentary for this. But this is a developing story at the moment. This is the first time in this campaign season that we have aired a live event for a presidential candidate, and we have seen such a situation play out.
This is crazy.
A huge crowd of supporters that did come out to Butler to see the former president. And this is developing. Let's get back out to the reporter down there on the ground, continuing to give us the latest on this situation.
Okay, let me pause this really quick. Okay, we're gonna come back to this here in a second. I just want to say this. This is what I was trying to say earlier. I'm sorry. I got so many questions in my head and so many things going on that I'm trying to look up and make sure as we're going through this breaking news. Okay, first off, really quick, please do me a favor, hit that like button down below, hit that reaction button, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow on all my social medias. That'll be greatly, greatly appreciated. But one thing I want to say is, regardless if this is real or fake, this is very, very bad for America, because this could very much divide our country even more. This could make it even worse. Okay, whether this is real or not, I believe it's real. Okay, I believe that there was an attempt on former President Trump's life. Until I hear anything otherwise that says, no, this is all fake, I'm leaning on the side of this really did happen for now. Okay, unless there's more proof given to me, right, and given to us. But nonetheless, this could divide the country even more. And that's the thing that makes me more concerned than anything else. Doesn't matter what side of the spectrum, what side of the aisle that you stand on, if you are extreme right or extreme left or somewhere in between, it doesn't matter, right? This could really, really throttle an already very sensitive nerve that's going on in America right now as we speak. So that is a concern of mine for sure. Okay. That, this could turn into a powder keg, and we don't want that, right? We don't want that. We want peace. We want to be able to live our lives and be happy and continue being in America, right? Without turmoil or frustrations, right? But let me continue on. Okay. Again, very crazy, unbelievable news here. But let's hear what the reporter has to say.
Several pops. And then he was on the floor. We saw the Secret Service move in. We saw people walking in with the federal authorities with their arms drawn, their guns. And then also all throughout the hours leading up to this, we saw these snipers up here on the roof there trying to survey the crowd and make sure everybody that came in was checked. And that's what we see when we go to all these events, especially when the Secret Service is involved. They check as many people as they can. People were out here for like 12 hours almost waiting, some of these people. We don't know if the person who fired these shots was in to the crowd mixed in. After former President Trump was moved off that stage and rushed away and the motorcade left, we did see some Secret Service members and possibly state police moving in, again with their guns drawn and looking like they possibly took somebody in for questioning or custody. We couldn't see, but there was a lot of movement over there to the other side of the stage. That was after the former president was carted off. He yelled, Shannon, as you might have heard during those remarks, after they picked him up, he said, let me grab my shoes. I mean, he had fallen to the ground. They were trying to do everything they could to make sure that he was okay. He walked off the stage, and before he left, he pumped his fist into that crowd, and everybody started cheering, Make America Great Again. But to come to these events, right, when you see the Secret Service, you know there's possibly this risk for the former president to come in when there's these big crowds. But they really did everything they could, it looked like, to check everyone. We went through several metal detectors. You know, they check your backpack. They wand people down. And it takes a long time for those people to get in because they're so thorough. So at this point, not sure if this person who fired either a weapon or it almost sounded like, you know, it was just some type of little pops, like explosives. And then to see that smoke come up, we'll have to figure out exactly what this was that was either thrown or fired. But to see the president on the ground there, you know, people were crying when they were leaving and very upset.
So while we listen here to this reporter that we have on the screen, of course, they are speaking back to our Fox News channel anchors. So you do see them there kind of nodding along, waiting for those questions. I am going to pop them back forward here as soon as they continue to give us more developments. But again, breaking news right now, a very tense situation over in Butler, Pennsylvania, where former President Donald Trump hosting a rally there. And then we heard popping noises in the background. It was a really chaotic scene for a moment there, and really at the start of when the former president was making his remarks. I'd like to pull up this tweet right now from Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson here, continuing to report on this breaking news. It says, reports of shots fired at Trump rally in Butler, PA. Secret Service rushed the former president off stage with his fist raised. We saw all of that happen in real time, and I would like to bring it up again. For anyone that may just be joining us, this is a developing story. We're still working to learn more about what exactly happened there. Again, it was popping noises. We do not know if there is a danger to any of the attendees at this event at the moment. This just happened about 10 minutes ago. I'd like to pull up once again the moments when this all went down in Butler, Pennsylvania, at a campaign rally for former President Trump. Let's watch.
Really, Christy?
A little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Yeah, that's a bunch of shots fired. Now, I got to pause it really quick. Christy, if you do have that information, I'm going to look and see if that's accurate as well, about there being two people that were actually hit during this and believed to not have made it. If that is true, that's so devastating. Because like I said, that bullet had to go somewhere. Those bullets had to go somewhere. If they did not hit, like one grazed his ear, but you heard multiple shots fired there, guys. Multiple. So again, those bullets have to land somewhere. Did they land into the ground? Did they hit the stage? Did they hit a vehicle? Or did it, unfortunately, God forbid, hit someone who is a supporter there? Those are the questions that I have as well. But real quick, let me share this with you guys, okay? Because this is some information that we're all starting to get right now as we speak, okay? It says the former president appeared to have blood on his face as he was rushed up from the stage by the Secret Service following a series of loud pops during a rally in Pennsylvania. A spokesperson for the Secret Service said Mr. Trump was safe after an incident. And you can see right here, the blood on his face, his ear looks like it's like raw meat up at the top of his ear right there. Okay, but let's look at this. He was escorted off the stage by Secret Service and into his motorcade just minutes into his rally on Saturday, on today, after a series of pops that sounded like gunshots rang out. The exact source of the noises was unclear, but Mr. Trump's ear appeared to be bleeding as he was rushed off the stage. So a spokesperson for Trump said in a statement that the former president was, quote unquote, fine and is being checked out at a local medical facility. A spokesperson for the Secret Service said in a statement that he is safe, that Mr. Trump is safe after an incident occurred at his rally in Pennsylvania. He did not provide further information. Mr. Trump had been showing supporters a chart of numbers about border crossings, which his audiovisual staff placed on screens above the stage when the apparent shots rang out. The former president ducked quickly after the noises began, with the sound coming from the bleachers to the left of where he was standing at the lectern. The noises came in two groups. A smoke rose from the section of the bleachers. Members of the crowd began screaming. Trump was tackled by security agents. Officials shouted for the crowd to duck and cover, whisking members of the news media off the press risers where they had been watching Trump's speech. After a brief pause, Mr. Trump rose, surrounded by a group of uniformed Secret Service members. He pumped his fist to the crowd, and he was rushed off the stage and ushered into his motorcade, which quickly left the venue, the Butler Farm show. Now, he was also pumping his fists and saying, "Fight, fight, fight," as he got up. After he departed, a group of officials wearing camouflage escorted him off a set of bleachers to the left of the podium where Mr. Trump was speaking. Police officials began cordoning off the area with crime scene tape as the rally attendees began clearing out. Blood was visible on the bleachers. Okay, so moving on, leave for 20 minutes. So Craig Cyrus, 54, of Newcastle, Pennsylvania, was sitting about 30 yards away from the grandstand when he noticed movement among law enforcement snipers who were perched on surrounding rooftops. They were looking intently at something to the left in the direction of a water tower. I saw them with their binoculars, he said. Then they got their guns. Shots rang out, but he said he did not know which were from the person apparently shooting or from the snipers. So it could have been an exchange, right? Like the first shot rang out, and then after that, or first few shots rang out, and then the snipers that were up there could have been returning fire directed at the person who this assailant could be, right? So there's that too. All right, let's continue on. President Biden received an initial briefing about what happened at the rally. The White House said, let's see, blah, blah, blah. Those who attended, subject to security. Okay. Those who attend Mr. Trump's campaign rallies are subject to security screenings. They are required to enter through metal detectors, and their bags and possessions are searched for weapons and a large number of banned items. So it's interesting. If this person went through a security check, a metal detector, they either went through this metal detector undetected, okay, with their weapon, or they had, like, I don't know, a plastic weapon, maybe. I don't know, but that's some weird stuff. I'm going to keep looking for more information, okay? I'm going to keep looking for more info because I am interested in hearing if there were any other victims to this tragic incident. But let me play a little bit more from Fox News that's giving us some more information. Hold on real quick. Madeline also says, thank you so much for being a member for the past 39 months. I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much for being a member as well. Shout out to, for being a mod, I'm sorry. Shout out to you. So Madeline says, I have the Group News app, which features left, right, and center reporting. Far right reports claim it was loud noise, while left reported weaponry, that this came from a pew-pew. That's interesting. That is interesting. Okay. But don't worry, I'm going to get to all your the chats, comments, and all that stuff real quick. Let me grab this too. Beautiful messy ball. Thank you so much for the support. According to Washington Post, Reporter County prosecutors is saying one spectator gone, another in serious condition, and the guy, the assailant, the bad man, the monster, is no longer alive. That's very, very interesting. Let me see if I can find that. I'm going to let this play a little bit, okay? I appreciate all y'all for being here. We got some more updates. Please be sure to hit that like button down below, hit that subscribe button. We talk about a lot of things on this channel, everything from pop culture to true crime, even in the political realm as well, especially when it's big moments like any of these types of things that are groundbreaking or breaking news. Okay, so we cover a lot of things on this channel, so please be sure to crush that subscribe button, show some support, and let's hear what they got to say now.
Are we good? Shooters down. Are we good to move? We're clear. We're clear. We're clear. Come on. Let me get my shoes. Let me get my shoes. I got you, sir. I got you, sir. Let me get my shoes, sir. Hold on, your head is bloody. So we gotta move to the bus. Let me get my shoes. Okay, my shoes down. Watch out.
All right, you see there again moments ago when the former president was just starting to speak at this campaign rally over in Butler, Pennsylvania, and you heard that popping noise, and now he was escorted by Secret Service agents. We do have the Fox News reporter still on the ground. It looks like she's about to get ready to bring us some more developments. I'd like to take this for you live.
That's, we were saying in the beginning, like, you don't know exactly what it was that we heard. But it sounded like, possible fireworks or explosions, and it was multiple pops in a row. And the screaming you hear below, Fetzer, I'm going to have you kind of show here. These are kind of just some people that are very upset after what happened.
Mad.
Hear the screaming, but they're blaming kind of what's going on with the media, saying it's fault. So that's what's going on right now. But going back to exactly what we heard, so it was like that series of pops, and then something also important to point out was that smoke. So in terms of what kind of possible weapon or explosive was used, we're still trying to figure it out. The former president did either, probably fall to the ground, was pushed to the ground pretty quickly when they all popped up there, the Secret Service, and tried to jump in and protect him. We saw people swarm. I mean, this place is full of law enforcement, right? Shannon, from going to these large events like this. They check every single person when they come in. They check your bag. They check everything. They want people down. So they were just trying to figure out exactly who was in the crowd, if it was coming from that crowd here where you can see where it was thousands of people were waiting here, or if it was somebody kind of on the outside, on the perimeter, kind of here, where he was able to kind of drive up in his motorcade, because there is just a retention pond in some areas back here. Like the main road that the former president actually drove in on is behind that red barn. So there is some open areas in the neighborhood and the house back there. So in terms of if the person even had to be in the property, I don't think so, because you could have thrown something, like if it was a firework or some type of explosive like that, right over the fence. So I think it just really caught everybody by surprise. In terms of him grabbing his ear when he came back up, I don't know exactly what kind of injury he possibly had, but he was able to say to them, let me grab my shoes, and then tried to walk away with dignity. Tried to send that message by putting up his fist and telling the American people and these voters here in the swing state that he was out here to connect with them and talk about improving America and getting back to the White House. But this is always something you kind of think about when you're going through security and getting wanded, how they have to be so careful when it's somebody so important up on that stage and there's so many people that are in close proximity of them. They need to do their best to make sure that he's safe. And today it shows what can happen.
This is wild, y'all.
All right, listening there once again to the reporter out there in Butler, Pennsylvania. She is talking back with our partners over at Fox News channel, discussing the latest that happened over at this campaign rally for the former president. He was just starting his remarks. This was set to get underway at around 2 p.m. West Coast time, 5 p.m. East Coast time, when he was expected to give these remarks. We saw a lot of supporters convening there, waiting for the former president. We have been waiting for him to speak as well, ready to take it live for you as soon as that got underway. And as soon as it did, basically like 5 minutes in, not even, we heard those popping noises and the Secret Service rushing to the stage to protect the former.
Real quick, we got some new updates, so I want to give them to you as we look at this live stream. Okay. First off, The monster who pulled the trigger is gone. He is no longer alive. They are no longer alive. I don't know the name. I don't know who they are or anything of that sort. But I do want to give you guys that update really, really quick. There is some information in this article as well about the another person that they say that's in serious condition. So really quick. We already know they say the former president is safe, but they say that the shooter is dead. Okay. He was unalived. All right. This is what the local district attorney Goldringer told the Washington Post. Okay. Saying that this person is this monster. Whoever did this is no longer alive. They also said another person is in serious condition. All right. So they said they captured more than a dozen shots, with later ones apparently coming from the agents protecting the president. Voices heard, "Get down, get down." Let's move on. We already know about this. But then they say audio from the network captured agents' voices saying, "Shooters down, shooters down. Are we good to move? We're clear, we're clear." As the agents tried to move Trump off the stage at the rally, he said, "Let me get my shoes, let me get my shoes," which we already know about all that stuff. They said, "I got you." Apparently he said, "I got you. Hold on. Your head is bloody. We've got to move," right? He pumped his fist and he kept saying, "Fight, fight, fight," as his crowd was basically screaming, "USA, USA, USA." Okay. There is a video that I want to share with you guys in a second, showing, and this is just kind of like a screenshot that's being shared all over X right now, of the whoever tried to take the president's life, right, is being dragged down. And I don't know if he's being dragged because he's been unalived or if he's actually alive. So let's take a look at that video really, really quick. It's not graphic at all. It's very crowded in the areas. You'll see what I mean in just a second. Okay, let's take a look at this.
What's going on? Was he shot? Was he wounded? Then we heard him on the microphone, Shannon, saying, "Let me grab my shoes," as they tried to take him off. So we're just trying to figure out what happened.
Now, I don't know if that's one thing that I'm trying to understand. They're saying that some people are saying that is the actual monster that did this, that pulled the trigger. And then some others are saying that could be one of the victims that actually got hit. Now, I have yet to hear anything about two victims. I've heard so far one is hurt, right? But I have not heard about two victims. I only heard about one so far, but I'm going to keep on looking. Like I said, this is all breaking news. This is all breaking as we speak. And so don't worry. I am going to be sharing that with you guys, this info when I find it. Okay. Just so y'all know. Let's hear the rest. Let's keep on listening to Fox News with this breaking info.
Former president. We do still have this live vantage point out there. You can see the crowd has really dispersed. Everybody that was behind the former president is being led off of those bleachers. And this sign on the podium kind of shows the chaos that happened there and how quickly Secret Service reacted, how quickly they went to the former president's aid. Of course, we're still working to learn what those popping noises were. No idea just yet if there is any danger to people that are in the area, if anybody had malicious intent while attending this event. But you can see that this entire crowd is basically gone already from Butler, Pennsylvania. All of these seats were filled. We saw that crowd just moments ago, ready, waiting, chanting for the former president. And then this entire situation unfolded there. So some people kind of standing around, also very jarring. It was very chaotic. And we heard screaming in the background when those popping noises first sounded off. We did see the former president kind of duck down there. And we see, obviously, some people walking up to the camera. These feeds are live, they're raw, they're unfiltered. This is what we bring you out live now from Fox. But this breaking news, a developing story right now. This is the first time, I believe, in this 2024 campaign season that we've seen such a scene play out at a campaign event. And it was just incredibly chaotic and incredibly disorienting to see. We have seen the former president have a lot of these rallies throughout the last several months. We have not seen anything like this happen in all of those months. And of course, this happening today, just moments ago. Again, if you were just joining us, we are following this breaking news, developing story out of Butler, Pennsylvania. I'd like to replay again this scene for anyone that is just joining us. We are trying to learn more details of what those popping noises were, but I'm going to play this out so you can see for yourself what just happened at this campaign rally for former President Trump.
Whoa. Okay. We got some new info.
And you know, that's
Holy poop on a stick.
Chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Move his there. Hold. When you're ready. On you. Ready. Move. Up. Move. Go.
Hawkeye's here. Hawkeye's here. Move it to the stair. Stair, get ready. Stair, get ready.
You ready?
No matter what, scary stuff, guys.
Are we good? Shooters down. Are we good to move?
We're
Let's
clear.
move. Let's move.
We're clear.
Come on. Let me get my shoes. I got you, sir. I got you.
Yeah, it's crazy because he gets hit. It's so wild.
We gotta move to the bus. Watch out.
I got another video for you guys. Got another video for you guys. We're gonna look at that, and don't worry. I'm sure we're gonna be seeing for the rest of this weekend and for the rest of this week up until the Republican National Convention that they're having. I think this coming week. I'm sure that we're gonna be seeing this video a lot. But don't worry, we are gonna look at this and we're gonna keep this playing. Trust and believe. While we're here, we're gonna keep on going with this. But this is some crazy stuff. Now I'm understanding that. Hold on. Let me play this. I don't know what this is.
Not too sure if they're there to escort the former president from this entire scenario, but you can see just the aftermath of that very scary, tense situation. This entire place was filled with supporters. You can see more law enforcement agents kind of scouring through this crowd, searching through. Some people have lingered on behind. They are trying to ask questions. We're asking the questions as well as to what exactly is going on. Let's head back out to the reporter down there on the scene. It seems that she is talking to one of the attendees of this event. Let's take a listen.
Yeah. And then he's a delegate out of California.
So we're hearing here that she is about to go live with this someone that was attending that event. But let's get back out to this another vantage point live as we continue to take a look at the aftermath from the tense moments at this Trump campaign rally being held in Butler, Pennsylvania. On this day, we had been waiting for the former president to take to the stage at about 5 p.m. Eastern time. He came up about an hour late, started at 6 p.m. Eastern time. It was about 5 minutes into his speech, and then we heard those popping noises. I'm going to just see if perhaps this reporter is live for us right now, speaking again to these attendees. Let's pump this back up and take a listen.
Went back.
Okay. Well, let him say what he needs to say real quick. Come on.
Hold on.
Go.
Okay. Well, just keep going.
Okay. All right. So from what I saw and heard at that point, I realized it was real, and the Secret Service was up there. They jumped on top of President Trump when eventually he did come up. I did see a little bit of blood on his right ear. It did not appear he was bleeding from his ear. It looked like it was above. Could be anything, though. He might have cut himself being pushed down by the Secret Service.
We're going to do it live right now. Hold on.
But they're already
Okay,
doing it live.
we're getting ready to go live for the Fox News channel. I do want to reiterate, though, that this is a developing story. So what we're going to hear from attendees here is just what they saw from their vantage point, but nothing has been confirmed just yet. So you did hear that gentleman mention something about perhaps the former president was bleeding, but that has not been confirmed. We are still waiting for official reports on this breaking news. I want to pull up again this tweet from Tim Scott, the senator and one of the potential vice presidential picks for the former president. He says here, please join me in praying for President Donald J. Trump and the safety of those at the Trump rally. I'd like to bring into Westfall. He is joining me inside of our newsroom. And Austin, you are following the latest on social media, also on the internet, all of the reports. What have you learned so far? What are we still looking to learn?
So something that we've been able to gather while we've been looking at all of the reporting coming in from this incredibly scary situation, there are photos out there showing Trump's face close up. He did have blood on his face after this took place. We also saw, if you looked closely, right when those pops started happening, he immediately reached for his ear. He immediately reached for the ear. He went down, Secret Service tackling him, jumping on top of him, protecting him, and then he came back up, and that's the same side of his face where there appeared to be blood. And obviously Trump at that time was holding onto that side of his face, eventually giving a fist to the crowd as he was whisked away by the Secret Service. The Associated Press says that his motorcade has left the venue. His condition is not immediately known. We did see him say, as soon as he got up, he asked for his shoes. He was immediately whisked away by the Secret Service, as we said. The Secret Service really dogpiling on him and then protecting him from just about every angle imaginable. We're working our news wires here to see what new information is coming from this very fluid situation. He was showing off a chart of border crossing numbers when those bangs initially started flowing out. Trump was...
Now, we know all this stuff, and I want to share with you guys a few other things here as well. I'm going to also see if there's any other news stations that are live right now as well. But one thing I do want to share with you is this is a staff writer for Washington Post. They did post this as well just a little bit after this incident. They say Butler County District Attorney Goldringer tells me Trump was grazed by a bullet, okay, but is safe. An audience member was unalived, and this monster is gone. Okay, he has been erased from this planet. I do have a video that I'm going to share with you guys in just a minute. Another person is in serious condition, the prosecutor also says. Now, apparently, that video that I showed you guys just a little bit ago was one of the victims, if I'm correct. This video I'm about to share with you is the actual monster, I guess, now gone, I guess. Let's take a look. That is allegedly the person up there. Okay. That allegedly is the assailant. Gone. Pretty crazy, right? Pretty crazy. All right. I don't want to play too much of that kind of stuff, to be really, really honest. But let me see if I can find some other things. And this is interesting, though. You know what? Let me pull that back up, because it almost seems like he's very out in the open. You know, hold on. Let me show where he is. Like it, and you see people looking up there and all that. I'm just saying he's right there on top of this. I don't even know what this building is, but it seems very out in the open, don't you think? Like he was on, literally, yes. Yeah, Brenda. He was on Facebook. Thank you so much. He was on a rooftop, but it seems very obvious where he is, right? But then again, I don't know exactly like the jurisdiction and where he is, right? It's interesting. right? But this is some really crazy and wild stuff no matter what, okay? And terrifying. Terrifying. Because here's the thing. No matter, like I said, no matter what side of the fence you stand on, okay, this is still terrifying. This is still a terrifying thing because you got to remember too, Biden is out here. You know, he's going to be doing rallies. He's going to be doing all kinds of stuff as well, speaking out and all that. Who's to say that this could embolden some other people to try to do the same thing to him too? Just saying, this is scary stuff. Nonetheless, okay. But let me see if we got some more in here. I'm just going to see if we got other news stations covering this really quick. But like I said, this is breaking news. Breaking news. You know, Trump was rushed off the stage during a rally today, just a little bit ago, after loud popping sounds were made, okay, while he was doing his speech. Pretty crazy stuff. I'm hopping over to NBC News. We're going to take a look at what NBC News has to say. We got Lester Holt in the house, right? So let's hear what he got to say.
For those who are joining us in this moment, just a reminder that our
Hold
team,
on, really, just so you guys know,
when this happened, we were in front of a camera, just getting
come
off
on, pause.
as the president started to speak.
Just so you guys know, okay, some of you guys are asking, is the shooter unalived? The shooter is no longer on this planet. His soul has left his body. He gone, okay? Him gone, okay? Just so you guys know. But now there's someone else, a victim that was also hit by a stray, okay, that clearly those bullets were meant for Trump. Someone did lose their life. Another one is in serious condition, according to a reporter, a staff writer for Washington Post. And we saw a video of someone getting carried out. I don't know if they were unalive or if that was just somebody that was severely injured. But we, of course, will find out more here in just a little bit. I'm going to hop around to a bunch of different news stations. Don't worry. I know some of y'all aren't happy with Fox. Some of y'all ain't happy with NBC. We're going to hop around and see what other reports are saying. Okay? So we're here at NBC News. Let's rock and roll.
Few minutes into his speech, this transpired. We ran for cover as we were trying to figure out what exactly had happened, initially thinking it was fireworks, then realizing it could be something more serious, and now deadly. I am in the parking lot right now, just outside of this venue. This is where press and general attendees have had their cars parked. This is where we evacuated to when we were told to leave the site. That is now a crime scene, and I've been running into witnesses here as people have been trying to find their cars, trying to make their way out. And that is where I ran into a man named Joseph, and I want to introduce him to you now. And as we just learned, Joseph, you weren't listening to the program here, but Lester Holt, NBC News, just reporting that one of the attendees has deceased, has died from injuries as a result of the shooting.
There
Joseph
we go.
Told me off camera that you may have witnessed this, and I'm so sorry to be talking to you in this tragic moment, but can you describe what it is that you saw?
I was attending the rally. I was in the set of bleachers, the very far left of the podium where President Trump was speaking. I was there with friends. I heard several gunshots. The man beside me suffered a gunshot wound to the head, was instantly killed, fell to the bottom of the bleachers. Another woman looked like she got hit in the forearm or hand. And then at that point in time, it was rather chaotic at that point because half the people were looking because they thought it was fireworks. I knew it was gunshots right away. My friend, he hit the deck. I was kind of looking around just trying to see where the shots were coming from. It seemed to me like the shots were coming from behind the bleachers. It seemed to me the man got hit in the head from behind. He was killed instantly, as far as I could tell. And at that point, state police and a SWAT team, started evacuating the bleachers, and then I helped carry the man out of the bleachers to a tent that was behind the bleachers.
You helped carry the man yourself. What was his condition when you were carrying him?
He's deceased.
Yeah.
How close were you to him?
A couple yards. It wasn't very far.
Did you know the man?
No, that's a complete stranger. they put a towel over his head and then carried him off.
And you said there was another woman nearby who was also injured. Where was she in relation to him?
I believe she was in the bleachers, like either behind, above me, or just to the side of him. But it seemed like she was kind of at my flank, and then she flinched, and it looked like she had taken a gunshot wound to the forearm and hand.
Joseph, from where I was standing, we heard multiple gunshots, 8 to 11 shots. We've been hearing it replayed on the video here. Do you remember? Can you tell? I know it was a chaotic scene, but at what point was it? Immediately when you heard the gunshots that he was shot, or was it later on into the firing?
The first 7, he was hit, and she was hit within the first 7 shots. I counted 7 shots.
What was going through your mind? You were right there. I know it happened so quickly, but what can you tell us about those moments?
First, I was in shock because I know what gunshots sound like, so I knew they were gunshots. I couldn't tell from where they were coming from. And when I noticed someone got hit, then I noticed, well, it seemed like they were coming from behind me, and it just was pandemonium. And then I heard some more shots, and I couldn't quite tell where they were coming from, but I counted the first 7. They were very loud and very close. And it killed one man and wounded another woman.
And Joseph, you told me that you're a doctor, you're an OBGYN. How did that background play into how quickly you were sort of able to assess the situation and know what happened to these individuals and know what was going on?
Well, I told the police, I tried to render assistance. I told the police I could render assistance. They had another physician on the EMT team, so they kind of took over. So they weren't really need me, so I kind of helped carry him down initially out of the bleachers. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't the man that got hit. There was no assistance that needed to be given, and unfortunately, his family witnessed the whole thing. It seemed like he had several family members in the bleacher with him.
No,
and
that's terrible.
Upset. They didn't know. They were in shock. They didn't quite know what's going on. But the man was definitely killed instantaneously.
Could you tell sort of how many family members or people who knew him were with him, and what was their reaction?
I thought there was 5 people. 2 of them were relatively hysterical. So, but they were, when we took the man out of the bleachers, he went to the tent. There was an aid tent or some type of tent behind the bleachers where they took the body, and they immediately evacuated the family with them. And 2 out of the 5, it seemed, in shock, hysterical. Like they were still trying to process what was going on.
Joseph, from where I was standing, we heard the shots. We saw the president go down.
Yeah, I saw President Trump get hit.
What can you tell us? What details you remember?
It seemed like his head was off to the side, and it seemed like he got nicked in the ear.
Was that before the Secret Service took him down to the ground, covered him?
Right before the Secret Service. I mean, it was maybe, again, it's hard to tell, time dilates when, it seemed like it was a second or 2. Like that first 7 shots that went off, the man got hit. He was killed almost instantly. The woman in the bleachers, she got injured, she got hit in the forearm and the hand. And then in those rounds that were fired, again, I was videoing the event, so that's when I saw Trump get hit. And it seemed to me like he was looking to the side and the round grazed his ear. So.
Could you tell the gentleman that was hit in the head what angle he was in relation to the former president, like which direction the bullets were coming from and to?
So it looked like he was facing the president at the very far left portion of the bleachers. So he's directly facing it. It seemed to me like the shots were coming from the rear, like behind us. And for me, it seemed like the man was in the way. I guess.
In the way of the former president?
No, it seemed like the man was in the way of the shots between whoever was shooting the gun and the president. The man was hit. It seemed like he was in the crossfire.
And I know. And I know you're in shock and still processing all of this. It's sort of hard to evaluate our own emotions in this moment, but you just experienced something horrific.
Yes.
What can you tell us about your state of mind right now?
Yeah, I've had opportunities to go to these rallies before. It was the first one I ever went to. I had, time off to go do it. I was kind of excited to go, but it's. Everyone, it's something you don't expect. It comes out of the blue. It's like a bolt out of the blue, and it's shocking. Crazy. The way politics goes in this country, it just seems like it's really polarized. Everyone's just very angry. I'm honestly shocked this didn't happen earlier. I was commenting to my friend who went to the event with me. I was like, the back behind the bleachers, it's really open. It seems like a really open venue, and it's just, I got this sense that, someone really wanted to do something. And again, I was openly talking to her. I was like, if something was bad was going to be happening, this is the perfect venue to have. I just said this like an hour before it happened. I was like, this would be the perfect place to do it. And, surprisingly enough, it happened.
A devastatingly prescient observation from you. Let me ask you one more question, because from where I was, there was confusion. Then Trump stood up and there were some cheers. And then people sort of remained, those that weren't in sort of the immediate zone where you were, people were still sort of cheering, talking, trying to figure out what was going on. How quickly did you know that whether or not there was still a dangerous situation? It seemed like people sort of started to try to move on very quickly, not sure what had happened, right? So how soon did you know whether or not it was even safe? Did you want to get out of there? What did you witness in sort of the immediate aftermath once the shots stopped?
Well, it seemed like the shots went off. Everyone thought it was a prank. Everyone, I think, got a sense, like when I looked out into the crowd, everyone thought I think the initial reaction, everyone thought it was a prank. I knew better it was a gunshot because I just saw a guy got hit. And
for those of us that didn't see, it's some people started laughing, some people were confused. It wasn't immediately clear to the crowd that didn't witness what you witnessed, that this was in fact a dangerous and deadly situation.
Oh, it was a dangerous and deadly situation. The problem is it's a large crowd, and when the gunshots went off, I think they were, again, my sense was they were being shot from behind, so they sounded a bit muffled. So it sounded more like a firecracker going off. So I think the initial reaction from the people around me were like, okay, well, someone brought fireworks. I just knew better. I knew what gunshots sound like. And, when I saw the guy took a gunshot wound to the head, and I saw the woman who got hit in the forearm and the hand, I just knew that it wasn't fireworks. I mean, it wasn't fireworks initially, but I think the majority of the crowd didn't understand that it was gunfire. And I think people took it really seriously when the SWAT team started jumping over the rails. So I don't know what to tell you outside of that.
Joseph, I know this. I can't imagine what it takes to describe what you just witnessed in these moments, right in the aftermath. So we thank you so much for sharing.
I'm happy to.
Lester?
Dasha, thank you for that account. I mean, no one should have to, fear for their life going to a political rally, something that is uniquely American. But these people have experienced the horror of someone opening fire on the crowd, and a former president who was, of course, the headliner at this rally tonight. As we've been reporting, one spectator is dead, another is in critical condition. The shooter, this all according to the Butler County DA, the shooter is also deceased. Our senior White House correspondent, Kelly O'Donnell, joins us again. Kelly, you have a new statement from President Biden.
That's correct, Lester. This is from President Biden, who is in Rehoboth, and he talks about this incident. He begins by saying, I've been briefed on the shooting at Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania. I'm grateful to hear that he's safe and doing well. I'm praying for him and his family and for all those who were at the rally as we await further information. Jill and I are grateful to the Secret Service for getting him to safety. There's no place for this kind of violence in America. We must unite as one nation to condemn it. The words of Joe Biden after learning about this incident involving his predecessor and his current rival in the political environment of this 2024 campaign. The president has been briefed by top officials. He has been talking with Homeland Security officials, and he is at his home in Rehoboth, Delaware, where he has a full complement of the things needed for the office, where he can get the income streams of all the relevant information. This first statement coming from President Biden, I would not be at all surprised if we don't hear more from him tonight as new developments take place. Lester?
All right, Kelly, thank you for that. Terry Schultz is with the Butler County, Pennsylvania District Attorney's Office and was at the rally. She is still there and joins me on the phone. Terry, first of all, if you can just walk us through what you saw, where you were in this crowd.
You know what? We didn't have VIP seats. We were a few rows back, enough that we could, see the former president, and then we were all standing there watching the jumbotrons they had put him on. And the next thing we did was we hear 3 shots. I see kind of his head, the former president's head, go sideways. you can see kind of like, blood. And at that point, I wasn't looking at anything. I was with some friends. They were like, you need to get down. Everybody get down. The people around me, there were some young people crying. And to be honest with you, at the time this happened, I wasn't even sure they were gunshots. But then we heard like 3 or 4 shots, and then we heard shots kind of returned. A friend of mine videotaped that, and we just watched that, and that's what we saw and what we heard.
From your vantage point, were you able to see where the shots were coming from? Was it obvious?
It was not, but you could hear them, and as soon as you heard the shots, your head turned towards the left. We have a route that runs outside the Butler Farm Show, Route 68, and it sounded like the shots were coming from out there near the field to the left-hand side of where we were. So it certainly was scary.
We look at the videotape, and it appears some people didn't quite realize what was happening at the moment. Were you one of them who was not quite sure what you were witnessing?
It's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see
absolutely. And again, until I was with some friends, and my girlfriend is like, you have to get down. People around us were pulling us down and saying, you have to get down. So I can tell you that it was chaos at the time.
Have you been to one of these rallies before?
I have not. It was my first time at a rally, and I was certainly excited, to go to one. We had so many people there. But I can tell you the chaos that this created. Everyone was scared. You see the former president and what's happening, and and then when I ascertained what had happened from my Pennsylvania State Police friends, it was very scary. But it was my understanding that they got the shooter. But that really doesn't make a difference, because it was just scary. Yeah,
that's our understanding is the shooter is deceased, and again one of the spectators as well, and one critically hurt, a spectator, and the former president is going to be okay. But you bring up a point I think we will all be talking about, and that is, of course, we don't know what the motivation was for this, but it certainly comes at a time that we are all keenly aware of the deep divisions and the risk of political violence. Is it something you even thought about as you set out to attend this rally tonight?
To be honest with you, no, not at all. I guess I know that there's political unrest in the country. But in no way did I think that this would happen. And what concerns me more is it's not only political, but there are innocent people here, and look what happened. And it should just never happen in our country. It really should not.
Your point.
She's got a very good point right there that, of course we all have our political views and all that, but at the same time, violence does not answer or change or, does not help a situation for sure. Two people, two innocent lives, one innocent life was lost, and one is hanging at the balance right now as we speak. They're in critical condition in the hospital right now as we speak, right? There's other ways to get your point across. There's other ways to quote unquote fight back. Okay. Violence is not the answer for everything. Okay. And this is just a very sad and a terrible moment for our country. I'm going to be real. Okay. Because it doesn't matter what side of the spectrum that you sit on, what side of the aisle that you're on. We all should be able to live our lives and be happy, right? And be safe, be able to go to a rally and not worry about coming back alive. That's the thing. We need to be better than that for sure. Because there's a lot of other people that are kind of speaking out. Bernie Sanders is starting to trend really hard right now on X, because he put a post up about an hour ago and he says political violence is absolutely unacceptable. I wish Donald Trump and anyone else who may have been hurt a speedy recovery. And that was about an hour ago. Of course, he may not know everything that has gone on in regards to this tragedy, but this is a tragedy. Someone did lose their life. Someone else, an innocent life, lost their life. Another innocent life is fighting for their life. And our country's former president was attacked, right there in front of the whole world, right? It's a scary thing, guys. No matter what, a very scary thing. All right, look at these photos right here. You know what I mean? Just from NBC, what they captured.
Here at NBC, Alan Smith and Matt Dixon, a top campaign official, is telling staff members that everything is okay, that we have no details to share at this time, but saying they'll follow up soon with more information. They are directing staff members to not speak with members of the media. They want what they describe as a total lockdown here. They add that your personal safety is of the utmost importance here, to pray, remain vigilant, and be strong. That is the messaging now. According to NBC News, that Trump campaign staff members are getting from the top, as there is it is always, of course, it is chaotic in the moments after something like this happens. And it's also, I think, another reason to be extraordinarily careful in what and how we report what we know has occurred here in what is just a historic day here in the United States, Lester.
Yeah, and then, of course, Hallie, we are here on the weekend before the Republican National Convention. Obviously, there will be some changes. We don't know what is in effect, but we're hitting primetime campaign season now.
Yeah, we sure are, right? And this is a moment where everybody begins to pay attention, especially considering the start of the convention. I mean, think about it, Lester, not looking at the time here, just after 8 o'clock Eastern, not maybe 3+ hours ago. The biggest story that I think most campaign reporters were chasing was who Donald Trump picked to be his running mate. That was sort of much of the attention here on this rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. The conversation has clearly and necessarily changed very dramatically since then. I think one of the questions moving forward is going to be the movements of former President Trump. How long is he going to remain at the medical facility where he's at now? Where will he head after that? Does he still plan to be at the Republican National Convention starting on Monday? Obviously, that kicks off in Milwaukee with the expectation that at some point between now and of course next week, he would announce his vice presidential pick. That is obviously taking a back seat to the immediate question of his own health and safety, as he is the presumptive Republican nominee here. And we are going to try to get some answers to those questions just as soon as we can, Lester.
All right, Hallie, we'll ask you to stand by. Thanks. Let me bring in Kristen Welker, moderator of Meet the Press. She's in Washington. Kristen, you're learning a little more from the Biden campaign, their immediate reaction to this.
Lester, we are, and our Monica Alba, who covers the Biden campaign, has this reporting that according to a campaign official, the Biden campaign is pausing all outbound communications and working to pull down our television ads as quickly as possible. And Lester, this underscores part of the conversation we were having earlier, which is that this is a moment that brings the country together in shock, in condemnation for this political violence. We are hearing from all quarters of the political universe, including some of those who have been quite critical of former President Trump. Liz Cheney, for example, saying the reports of the shooting in Pennsylvania are horrifying. Violence of any kind has no place in American politics. We are grateful for the reaction of the Secret Service and other law enforcement and pray for the former president and all those injured. Similar messages from former President George W. Bush, House Speaker Mike Johnson, and on, Lester.
Mikey
and
Mike.
On the eve of the Republican National Convention, former President Trump, his campaign apparatus, Republicans all over the country poised to go to Milwaukee to officially nominate former President Trump as their party's nominee. And as Hallie was just saying, we anticipated and we were working on trying to determine who the former president would pick to serve as his vice presidential nominee. And now, of course, the focus has shifted to this horrifying topic of political violence and what this country needs to do to prevent something like this from happening again, Lester.
All right, Kristen Welker. Kristen, thanks very much. Let me reset here for our viewers just joining us on this Saturday evening. We are on the air with breaking news. There has been a shooting at Donald Trump's Pennsylvania rally this evening. The former president has been injured. How he was injured is not clear at this time. I want to pause here. We're going to roll the video of what happened just shortly after 6 p.m. here in the East while Mr. Trump was speaking. Here it is.
I know that we've all seen this over and over again, but this also inspires me. You know, Lester Holt just kind of inspired me to kind of give you guys an update as well. Former president of these United States, Donald J. Trump, there was an attempt on his life. They tried to take him down. A bullet, it looks like, grazed his ear. So I don't know what else he is injured, what else he could be injured from. I think when he was tackled by his Secret Service, he could be injured from that. I mean, it looks like he was hit so hard that his shoes fell off, guys. He was tackled so hard that his shoes fell off. Okay. So very interesting, right? We're still getting new updates as we go. This is very, very live, guys. So I appreciate you guys for being here. But like I said, I don't know about this being fake, y'all. There is someone who lost their life. Another person is in the hospital with severe injuries, fighting for their life. Real talk. Okay. He got grazed in the ear by a pew pew. I just don't think that this is some staged thing. I'm just going to say it. Until they tell me otherwise, until they show proof that this is fake, you know what I mean? I don't see it being fake. I see something that actually really happened here. There are people that lost their lives. Let me just say that again. There are people that lost their life. At least one. Another one is in the hospital right now fighting for their life. And then you heard somebody saying themselves a firsthand eyewitness account of standing next to someone who actually did get hit by one of the stray rounds from this assailant. Okay? This is some scary stuff, guys. And especially right now, let's be real. We're marching into the middle of July. Okay? We're about to get right now, things are extremely, or not extremely, they're starting to rev up, right? The political the political vibe, the political energy, the focus on the election that happens in November, all those things are coming up very, very soon. So things are revving up even more now. This is the worst thing, in my personal opinion, that could have ever happened to any candidate right now. This is going to be a very interesting thing. Okay. And I hope that this does not embolden others to do bad. That's the one thing I'm concerned about. Let me grab some of these comments really quick. Some of these super chats and members chats, and I appreciate all the support and all the questions and for those of you guys who are new to the channel, welcome to the channel. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Subscribe, support if you can. We try to talk about everything on this channel as best as we can, from true crime to pop culture and everything in between, especially when we have world news, big, huge moments like this, breaking news. We talk about those breaking news moments as well. So please be sure to subscribe. All right. That would be greatly appreciated. But again, Sweet Indigo, thank you so much for being a member for the past 32 months. Could this all been a setup so that people will rally behind him? Well, here's the thing. No matter what, and it looks like there's going to be some sort of press conference here very shortly. So we're about to go and watch that here in just a second, which I'm very, very happy that we're here to watch it together as a family. But at the same time, I don't think that this is a setup. But I will say this, though. This could inspire more to lean towards Trump during his election. It could help him get more sympathy votes. I don't know. Like I said, you know what I mean? I got a lot of questions. I'm not going to answer everything, but President Biden has some things to say. Let's hear it.
Sees in the federal government as the situation, based on what we know now. I have tried to get a hold of Donald. He's with his doctors. He's doing well. I plan on talking to them shortly, I hope, when I get back to the telephone. Look, there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this. And so I want to thank the Secret Service and all the agencies, including the state agencies, that have engaged in making sure that the people who, and we have more detail to come relative to other people maybe injured in the audience. I don't have all that detail. We'll make that available to you. I may be able to come back a little later tonight, but we'll put out a statement if I'm not able to give, if it's not convenient for you all. But the bottom line is that the Trump rally was a rally that he should have been able to be conducted peacefully without any problem. But the idea that there's political violence or violence in America like this is just unheard of. It's just not appropriate. And everybody must condemn it. Everybody. I'll keep you informed, and if I am able to speak to Donald, I'll let you know that as well. But so far, it appears he's doing well, number one. Number two, that there's thoroughly investigating what happened to anyone else in the audience. We have some reports, but not final reports. And every agency in the federal government, I'm going back to my phone to speak with the federal agencies that are being put together again to give me an updated briefing. Has anything happened? They learned any more in the last couple hours. So thank you very much. And I hope I get to speak to them tonight, and I'll get back to you if I do. Okay?
Mr. President, do you think there was an assassination attempt?
I don't know enough to. I have an opinion, but I don't have any facts. So I want to make sure we have all the facts before I make any more comments. Thank you.
Are you worried, President? Was the security failing
The president stopping short of calling this an assassination attempt, but noting that he plans to talk to Donald Trump and that his understanding is the former president is doing well. President Biden speaking out against the scourge of political violence, saying there's no room for this. And as we had reported a few moments ago, the Biden campaign moving to take down its advertising, a pause in its political advertising in the wake of this. We know that the president couldn't confirm, but we have confirmed that at least 2 spectators were shot, 1 killed, another who is in critical condition. And again, the shooter, who we don't know a lot about right now, is also deceased. Let me go back to Kristen Welker in our Washington, D.C. bureau. The White House getting out in front of this very quickly, Kristen.
Lester, they sure are. And President Biden condemning this in the strongest terms possible, which is what you would anticipated. He has long condemned political violence. He said this is unheard of. Everybody must condemn it. He did say he had tried to speak with the former president, whom he referred to as Donald. He also noted, Lester, that he is receiving thorough, robust briefings from his national security team, from his federal agencies, and that will undoubtedly continue throughout the night. The White House will undoubtedly need to keep the public informed throughout the night. It comes, as you point out, as they have pulled down and are working to pull down all of their ads, as the Trump campaign is in a media blackout. And it speaks to, Lester, the seriousness of this moment, the gravity of this moment, the fact that, quite frankly, something has just shifted in our American politics, in our country. This act of political violence, which, as the president said, cannot and will not be tolerated. And it does come as everyone is preparing to go to Milwaukee for the Republican National Convention, another event that will be met with heavy security. The perimeter there will be quite strong, quite large. Getting into the actual area where the convention is taking place will undoubtedly require going through magnetiles, making sure that no one is armed going into that event. But again, Lester, this just underscores, I think, that something fundamental has really shifted in our American politics today.
Yeah, it's certainly, the threat has been talked about, but to see it play out on this scale is certainly horrifying. Kristen, thank you for that. We'll go back to you in a bit. Let's bring in our senior Washington correspondent, Hallie Jackson. You have a statement from Donald Trump Jr., the former president's son.
Yeah, via a spokesperson to our colleague Peter Nicholas, that listen, you heard President Biden say he tried to reach former President Trump on the phone. We know that the former president's son has spoken with him in a statement saying they just talked on the phone, with Donald Trump Jr. saying that his dad is in great spirits, that he will never stop fighting to save America, no matter what in Donald Trump Jr.'s words, no matter what the radical left throws at him. So what we can glean from this, a couple of things, that former President Trump is, as his campaign says, fine. He is well enough to speak. He is well enough to be on the phone, at least with his immediate family members, at least with his son, Donald Trump Jr. We know that he is receiving medical treatment at a local facility with this rally happening, of course, in Butler, Pennsylvania. And we know that there has been a slew of reaction, as Kristen, as you, as others have talked about from both sides of the aisle here, strongly condemning political violence after this very difficult day in American politics. Lester, we'll keep you updated as we get more.
All right, Pally, thank you. Kip, Tom?
Now, again, this is all very shocking information, okay? You know, I am just, I think just like anybody else, we're all very shocked. And like they said, you know, there have been threats and people saying about, you know, trying to take, you know, there's been threats at Trump's, you know, life and all that stuff. But for it to actually happen is something unbelievable. But I also will say this, because this is what I'm seeing in the, you know, how people are reacting and everything. I mean, this is something that I think that can also be, like I said, I think that's going to rally his supporters even more. You know, even the people that are kind of swaying back and forth, possibly, that are like, you know, I don't know if I'm voting for him or not. Whatever. This may, you know, entice people to lean to vote for him this time. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's very crazy. All right. Because there's already posts out here saying, oh, they tried to jail him and they tried to, you know, then shots were fired at him and he's still standing and he's still pumping his fist. That's what I'm seeing on the internet right now. Right. From Trump supporters. Right. And then, of course, you know, there's the other side that, you know, I have yet to really see any reaction from the left. For what I've seen so far, a lot of people have just been saying, like, you know, this is not right. You know, this is not good. We should not be trying to take attempts at people's lives, you know, no matter where we think politically and all that stuff. But nonetheless, you know, this is going to be very interesting how people respond, right? Sidecar Tommy just says reports saying the bullet hit teleprompter, glass shattered and cut his ear. Interesting. Maybe that is what it is, and maybe not. You know what I mean? Maybe it was grazed, maybe it was not. But let's see who this is right here.
Came tonight.
Yeah, you know, there was a lot. It was interesting listening to the people as they departed the scene, and you know what was going through my mind, and of course being a little older than many of those that were there, but I was recalling the Kennedy assassinations and some of the other attempts that were made during my lifetime, and I was recalling those and thinking about those, and then moving forward to where we're at today, and we still have a problem with this. So it's shocking, but most people are pretty upset. There's no question about it.
Understandably. Ambassador, thank you so much for taking the time being with us. We're glad you and yours are safe after this tonight. Retired ATF Special Agent Jim by now, as you know, we've been reporting that the shooter in this case is deceased, presumably shot by law enforcement. I think the next question will be, is this a lone operator, the proverbial lone wolf, or is this part of some kind of conspiracy? Those are two different things. How will they begin to get, at least put the dots together?
Yeah, well, let's start with the deceased shooter, Lester, and identify him, and then, you know, his personal devices, phone, computer, etc., for, you know, associates, Confederates, and start interviewing around the circle around him. You've dug out a lot from the reporters and the witnesses since we last talked, and you know, it appears that maybe the shooter It seemed like to me, watching the video closely, that the first shot or two is where the President Trump reacts.
Hey, Jim, let me just stop you for a second. I just received a new piece of information that I want to get your thoughts on. We're now from a confirmed source that the shooter was actually firing from outside the perimeter. That changes a lot in terms of the security posture at these things, doesn't it?
Wow.
Yeah, it does. But what's surprising to me is that a shooter could get in an elevated position at any kind of a Secret Service event, because the first thing that the service does is they get all the elevated positions and they put their sniper teams up there and lookouts with binoculars and rifles. So it does seem from the witnesses that this was a distant shot now, that the reason the shot wasn't as loud, it was further off in the distance. And it looked like, watching the video, Lester, closely, that when the president turned his head to the right, the first shot or second shot, the first pop or two, is when he grabs his right ear. And then he, on his own volition, goes down, squats down. No, he doesn't fall down, he just squats down. But you can see at that same moment that the spectators behind him are also hunching down as a normal reaction to gunfire. And then there's more rounds right after that. There's maybe another 5 rounds. And Dasha Burns had a witness that she just interviewed, and he talked about he counted 7 rounds. And that was close. I don't know can't tell the exact number. I have to listen to that audio very, very closely. But I mean, that sort of jives with what the witness said. So it looks like we had an assassin with a rifle outside the security perimeter. That's why you had mentioned earlier, magnetometers. Well, if you never breach the security perimeter, nobody checks you. And the first shot or second might have been the one intended to kill the former president, but it grazed his right ear.
Yeah, Jim, let me bring back, if I can, Evie Pomporis, a former Secret Service agent again. Evie, thank you for staying with us. I'd like to get your reaction to the fact this person was firing from outside the perimeter. That raises a lot of questions about how these areas are secured.
No doubt.
That's one of the most difficult things when you do outdoor sites. So when we spoke before, when you look at it this way, when you're in a closed environment, even if it's an arena, at least you're in a closed environment. I only have to worry about what's on the inside. When you do open rallies like this, right? You're outside. You have to worry about line of sight issues. Line of sight is a massive problem. Why is it a problem? Because somebody can be out in the distance and really engage your target from a long range. And there are weapons out there that allow you to do this. So even though, let's say you hunker this whole area down, you've got the magnetometers, you've got the tactical element, everything's locked and tight. How do you secure that outer perimeter? How far do you go? And can you cover everything? That's a problem. These are probably, of all the types of advances you can do, these are probably the least favorite among Secret Service agents, because you have the inability. And even if somebody is in an elevated position or not, how do you secure all those elevated positions when you have weapons with the capabilities that are able to shoot long distances? This is what you are up against.
Yeah, and you point about weapons that can shoot long distances. We tend to think of those as long guns, things that stand out certainly in a crowd, whether you're, no matter what side of the fence you're on. The fact that this person is at some distance was able to strike the former president, does that suggest some ability beyond the average gun user?
Well, that would be interesting to see, right? Because it's hard to speculate at this point. How far was that person? One of the things that lead me to think that this person was at a distance, when we hear the gunshot, it sounds very faint, very soft, right? It sounds like an echo. That's why so many people mistook it for fireworks. That's why a lot of people weren't sure it was a gunshot. So when you hear the shot like that, it does lead us to believe that it was at a distance. And that's why there's the confusion. I do want to say this, which is really interesting as I watch this. When you do security for these events, one of the greatest concerns are the people inside and stampede issues. And what I have to acknowledge is all these folks held steady and fast. We don't see people really losing it. We don't see people stampeding out, because it's not just the danger of the attacker, of what's going to happen. The danger a lot of times can come from within. So I really have to comment on everybody's ability to stay put, to not panic, and to allow the Secret Service, and also look at where that motorcade is. That vehicle where they exit him out, there's people all around, and you see everybody hold their position and allow the security team to evacuate.
Yeah, Evie, thank you for that. I should note several years ago, working on a story for the Today Show, I went to the Secret Service training facility outside of Washington, and they put me through a simulation in which I was the protectee, waving to a crowd when shots ring out, and the swiftness of these agents moving around me, getting me in the car and driving off was stunning, even though I knew it was going to come. So the training is obviously something they do. They prepare for these kind of moments. I'm sure there'll be a lot of soul searching about what happened in this case, but impressive group of folks who put their lives on the line for these protectees on a daily basis. Evie, we'll get back to you in a few moments. I want to go back to NBC's Dasha Burns. She's outside that Trump rally. She was there when the shots rang out. We're obviously grateful. You and
Here we go.
The rest of our team are fine, the other journalists, but we do recognize 2 spectators were hurt, 1 killed, another in critical condition. Dasha, you have had some pretty heart-wrenching interviews today. People saw a lot of things you can't unsee.
Yeah, Lester, that's absolutely right. People who came to a Trump rally, some of them for the first time, looking forward to seeing the former president. There was music playing, people selling merchandise, people eating food, people reuniting with friends here, not expecting anything like this. Let me just set the scene for you right now. We are in the parking lot outside of the venue. Sirkin, our cameraman, is going to show you. People are kind of in a traffic jam right now. This was a one-way in, one-way out kind of road situation. This is Butler County. It's a pretty rural county. Not a lot of big highways, not a lot of big roads. So people have been, I mean, this is now hours later, and many people still waiting to get out and still waiting and processing everything that they've experienced. I want to introduce you to Tracy, who is stuck in this traffic jam right now. Tracy and Tyler, they're high school friends. They were right there. And Tracy, we've been hearing some of these stories. Can you just walk us through what you saw?
Absolutely. President Trump was up there, you know, and then within 5 minutes, we're hearing pop, 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 pop. And then everybody's on the ground, everybody's on the floor. And it was just like, what? And we were on the ground level. We were 4 rows back from the stage. And are you coming?
We'll just follow along with you. They're moving in the car here, so we'll just
on the stage. And the people in the bleachers behind us, somebody got popped. Somebody got killed. Somebody died. Somebody got shot. Like this close to where we were. Those bullets, I pray to God for these people's families. Oh my God. But the how is this happening in our country today? And why? Why is it happening? Why?
And Tracy, you were telling me earlier, you know, you and Tyler, you know this county, you know this area. Did you ever think something like this would happen here?
Never. Absolutely never. You know, this shows you how much hate and hostility is in our world today. This is not a good thing. We need to all come together as a human race, you know. We need to help each other out.
Can you describe this area, this county, this place that you and Tyler grew up?
Yeah, Tyler?
Rural.
Rural. You know, cows, chickens. This is farmland. This is farmland here.
Butler, that's the county seat, but most of the county's private farmland. So it's people are pretty easygoing.
And Tracy, we talked about, you know, often Trump rallies, people are coming to celebrate, to see the former president. They're coming in with a pretty excited attitude. Can you walk me through what you came in with and what you're coming out with?
I came in with hope and excitement. If you have you ever been to a Trump rally?
Oh, we cover them all the time.
Well, how does it make you feel?
How does it make you feel? How are you feeling?
It makes me feel absolutely great and wonderful. You know, in my heart, I feel that this man really wants to help our country because I really feel that. I honest to God, I do, because this country for so long seems to be going down a path that it really shouldn't be doing.
So, I mean, you came in to hear the former president speak, someone you're a fan of. And what is your state of mind now?
Not good. There's too much hate. This is too much. We can't do this as a country. We can't do this. We need to come together as a country, and God willing, we will. I don't know if you're allowed to put that stuff on, but listen, man, my kid is a 4th-year seminarian, and he prays for this country every day. My child. I can't.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you and Tyler are safe. Drive safe. We hope you get home soon. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
Lester, they've got
Interesting.
to go still. There's a lot of cars piling up here. There are a few different places that people are trying to exit at this point. A bit of a free-for-all, but people have been kind and generous to one another. People letting cars in that are trying to come in. And again, just reeling from what they witnessed. Some people very much firsthand, very much very, very close to the tragedy that we're describing from sort of the law enforcement point of view, the high level point of view. But at the end of the day, Lester, the people who were here on the ground, particularly those who were close to that violence, it's something they are never going to forget, and it's now associated, of course, with politics, with the state of our democracy for so many of the people that we've been talking to, Lester.
All right, Dasha, thanks. We'll continue to go to you as you get those riveting accounts from folks. NBC News campaign embed joining us on the phone now. She is in Butler, Pennsylvania, near the hospital where there is heavy law enforcement presence. NBC News has not confirmed that the former president is at that hospital, but it's 15 minutes away from where the rally took place. Jillian Frankel is there. What are you seeing?
Lester, that's right. I'm across the street from Butler Memorial Hospital. And as you mentioned, we do not yet have confirmation that this is where former President Donald Trump was taken. But there's a heavy law enforcement presence here. Media was across the street. We're shortly getting moved. The hospital is set up on a hillside, and there's law enforcement at the top of the hill looking down. There's also law enforcement at the top of the roof of the hospital itself. When I arrived, there was a helicopter circling the building, heavy police presence here, Lester. When I pulled up, I asked the officer how they were doing. He said they're hanging in there. Obviously, a terrifying scene here in Butler tonight. Lester?
Yeah, so the access road is cut off to this area?
It is. We are not allowed to go up there. The police vehicles have moved, but we're not allowed to go up the hill to the hospital itself. And media was staged across the street. They're actually sending us further away from the hospital itself momentarily. But yeah, it was completely blocked off when I arrived here, and still a heavy police presence.
All right, Jillian, thanks very much. Again, we haven't had correct me if I'm wrong from the control room, but I don't think we've had a complete description of the wound suffered by the former president. We have all seen, the blood coming out from near his ear, his right ear. Somebody described as a teardrop of blood, of fresh blood. It appears he might have been grazed by the bullet, but again, we haven't received a complete medical terminology description of the wound. But it does appear that he was certainly hit during all of this. He's largely under his own power, certainly being escorted down to the armored vehicle, but again, seems to be doing okay. In fact, we heard from President Biden a while ago, who said that he appears to be okay. We should note that President Biden says he will be trying to call former President Trump at some point here in the not too distant future. And there, the signal of triumph from former President Trump as he was put into that armored car and taken to, we believe, quite possibly the hospital we were just showing you a moment ago. Our investigative correspondent Tom Winter is with us. He continues to dig out fresh details. What more can you tell us, Tom?
Lester, a couple of these things coming from official statements from law enforcement or for
Crazy
law
law enforcement officials to myself and our colleague Jonathan Dienst. We know that the FBI is now on scene and is assisting the United States Secret Service along with the U.S. Attorney's Office in their investigation into this shooting today at the Trump rally. You were just asking a question about whether we know whether or not the former president was shot directly, either grazed in the ear or in the cheek, or whether or not this was a ricochet. That's something that they're still trying to get a handle on, and whether or not a piece of glass was what may have struck him. But either way, he obviously, from the photographs, was struck in some fashion by something.
Now, that's the thing. The question is going to be, the question now remains, or the question that everyone's going to be hovering over is, did something actually, was it a bullet that actually grazed his ear, or if this was a piece of glass or something of that sort, or how he may have, because it seems like if you see right here, he reacts and like grabs his ear. So some projectile of some sort, that could be a shard of glass, it could have been a bullet itself, any of those things grazed him in some sort of way. What they say about it, we're going to find out. Also, the other piece of information that I thought that was very interesting that we need to know, because I was sitting there going, wait a second, if there was a perimeter, like a security perimeter, there was metal detectors for every single person to walk through and all that, and security was doing their security job, then there wouldn't be a possibility for someone to be able to walk in with a long rifle and be able to do what they eventually ended up doing. Now we find out that they were on the outside perimeter of the actual event, which is interesting because that also tells you about the accuracy that he had, right? It could, because given the fact that he was further away, his accuracy could be a little bit more off because of that, right? But you never know what happened here. You never know. If the teleprompter was hit by a bullet, that teleprompter could have saved Trump's life as well by shifting the trajectory of the bullet. Think about that. I mean, we don't know everything yet, right? But it could have been aimed straight for him, but it hit the glass and maybe went off to the side, if that's the case. Anything is possible, right? Anything is possible in regards to this. And of course, we're gonna find out more. When we get more information, we're gonna talk about it here for sure, because this is unbelievable events that happened and heartbreaking, to be honest, as well. We have people that are one person that's in the hospital, two people, the assailant and another victim lost their lives today, right? So this is all just devastating stuff. Now let me grab some of these super chats before they all disappear. And I do want to say that thank you guys for your opinions, giving me your opinions in these super chats and all that. We're going to read them and we're going to check out what you guys got to say. So Sweet Indigo says, thank you so much. Well, first off, this is in the middle. Sorry, I'm going to go back to Sweet Indigo in a second. Urban Mosque, thank you so much. Tragic, but Trump's response to this Trump's response to this is what I'm worried about. It needs to be measured and calm, but that's not how he gets down, and that's scary. I'm gonna say this. Obviously, with this situation, it is a terrible situation. He stands back up. He's alive, and he feels like almost like it's kind of like a keep fighting, get up, keep fighting. Some people will look at that as something that is that could embolden the wrong type or send out the wrong kind of message. And then there's going to be another side that looks at that and says, okay, yeah, he's basically saying, I'm still standing. You know what I mean? You try to take me down, but I'm still standing. So I don't know. You know what I mean? I get it. I get what you're saying. But I think that he was trying to let everybody know also that he's okay and that he's still going to keep fighting. But, like I said, just that's just my 2 cents on that. Right. Also, Sweet Indigo, thank you so much. You had 2 of them. None of the people behind him got hurt. Yes, they did. So we now know about that. But you did put up these super chats in the very, very beginning of the show. All of you guys did. So some of the information you may not have known about, we now know, right? So that's some information. S-Dubs, thank you so much. There are close-up shots of the blood. Yes, we have seen all of that now, of course. Sweet Indigo, again, he's been missing for weeks, and now this happens. Yeah, I mean, it's still Yeah, wild stuff. Okay. I didn't know that Trump was missing for weeks. So that's news to me as well. Okay. Marcus, thank you so much for the super chat. You think it was a CIA? Always got to consider espionage. Okay. Well, you can always put that on the table. I mean, anything's possible. Who is the person? That's the other thing, too. I do want to make that abundantly clear. The identification of the actual assailant has not been released yet. So we don't know who this person is who attempted to take Trump's life while taking another person's life and severely injuring another person's life. Okay. Also, would love to know the name of the victim. Okay. The victim that lost their life as well. Right. So, it's sad, and it also tells you long rifle, maybe an AR, maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe something that we know very well to, in regards to these kinds of mass tragedies that we see in schools and all major events as of late. Okay. Over the past couple decades, it's always the star of the show are those long rifles. And I'm wondering though, I actually am wondering, with all due respect, after this situation, will Trump have a different perspective when it comes to assault rifles, gun violence, gun control, and all that? I'm curious. We it's just a question. And I'm wondering if he'll ever look at that and go, no, okay, there is a problem here. Or maybe he stands strong on that hill of like, hey, my gun, my rights, and this is how I feel about it. You never know. But maybe this will change his thoughts on things, or maybe make him think about these things, because now he almost lost his life today, guys. We got to remember that. He almost lost his life. And that's wild. Period, point blank. Okay. Beautiful, messy ball. Thank you so much. Reports are all over the place right now. Yeah, in the very beginning. And I'm sure they still are. I mean, let's be real. It's pandemonium over there still as we speak. We just listened to a bystander that was there, somebody that was at the rally. Okay. And obviously, a lot of people are still shook about this whole situation. As you can see in the video right there, someone's getting carried out right now, or not right now, but earlier, after this incident and this tragedy happened, right? A lot of people are very, very traumatized, not only just injured physically, but emotionally and psychologically as well. This is a scary moment. You heard all those screams and stuff. That's terrifying, guys. That's a terrifying thing, right? Joellen, thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to the family. And just like Joellen, please consider becoming a member by hitting that join button down below, okay? Become a member. Hit that join button down below, or check out my Patreon, patreon.com/The Pascal Show. And I promise you guys, as we get more information about all of this, when we get the identification of the actual assailant, when we get more information revolving around this particular situation, we will be talking about it. I will be giving you guys that update, okay? But violence is never the answer, okay? This should not have happened. Doesn't matter if you agree with his politics or not. This shouldn't have happened, okay? And my heart goes out to every single person that was at that rally that is now deeply, deeply, traumatized from this situation. And, I'm praying for former President Trump's speedy recovery as well. You got to remember, that's a terrifying thing. No matter what, even if he got up and he was pumping his fist going, fight, 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 he still got to have a moment for himself when he gets into his ride, gets back home, talks to Melania, and sits there and goes, wow, somebody just tried to take my life. Holy cow, somebody just took my life. You see what I'm saying? That's scary. That's scary for anybody. Real talk. Okay. Sweet Indigo, thank you so much. Wait a minute. He's a sniper and he missed. But you got to remember, depending on the distance, depending on everything, you never know. I don't know, as far as like the science and how it all goes down, but he could have been at a very far distance and taking a Hail Mary shot. A couple of Hail Mary shots. You never, ever know. Real talk. You just never, ever know. All right. Then also you got to remember wind, all these other things that are factors for a bullet to travel a far distance. Okay, that is something that you have to put into consideration. And the fact that he was further out on the outside perimeter of the actual event says a lot. Also, you got to remember this too. This person, whoever this person is, may not be a skilled sniper. They may not even be skilled. They may just have some experience messing around, shooting beer cans in bottles. You know what I mean? And that's it. So on some real stuff, anything's possible with that, right? Anything's possible. We don't know who this person is, what their experience is, what level of experience they have, and all that stuff. And Trump did make a statement here. We're going to take a look at that in just a minute. Just really quick, let me get this last one. C-Mac, thank you so much. Thank you for great Pascal, for great coverage. How soon we forget what happened at the Capitol when he said fight. You know what? You are absolutely right. That's one of the things. Okay. And that's one of the things like even Urban Mosque, I think, is trying to, reiterate or bring up. Yes. This is a very scary thing, right? It could be a very scary thing. It's really how the people perceive that, right? To me, I look at it as like, they try to take me down. I'm up. I'm fine. Keep fighting because I'm going to keep fighting too. Not, hey, let's rush the Capitol, right? Let's bring chaos and mayhem to these streets. I don't think that's what it is. But then again, I'm not Trump. You know what I mean? I can't read his mind, and nor am I his best friend. Okay. All I can say is that maybe he was just trying to, assure people that he was okay. Maybe that's what it was. But never, anything's possible. And you also got to remember, just because he says one thing doesn't mean that people are going to interpret it that way. They can take it to a whole other level. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the upcoming days. Hopefully this doesn't, like I said, embolden others to do bad, right? Or this turns into a negative reaction out here in these streets, outside of just the Capitol, right? But let's move on. Mudvalve, thank you so much. Just wanted to say to keep in mind all the details of the event as you remember, so that no one can persuade you of anything that is true later on. Yeah, that is very true. That is very true. Remember everything that we heard, okay? All right. Take a look at everything. Put all that stuff out there. I know Trump just made a statement, so I'm going to roll this back a little bit to see what it said. Okay. So let's take a look at that. Hold on. Rolling it back just a smidge. All right, let's take a look at this. Trump did make a statement. Oh, come on.
His next steps. Presidents and former presidents have not only a lot of security around them, but often their homes have additional security as well. So finding a way to safely transport him, making certain of his medical situation, and then the necessary communication between the White House and the former president. Those are the things we're watching. Kristen?
Kelly O'Donnell at the White House for us. Kelly, thank you. And as you have been speaking, Kelly, we are watching these chilling, horrifying images of the former president rushed off the stage, bloodied, defiant, that traditional fist pump that Donald Trump is known for as he is whisked away to get medical care. Lester Holt is back with us. Lester.
Kristen Welker, thank you. NBC's Dasha Burns is just outside that Trump rally. She was there when the shots rang out, and she is now in a sea of traffic of people still trying to leave that area, many with some pretty horrific stories to tell. Dasha?
Yeah, Lester, that's exactly right. We've been talking to people who are stuck in this traffic jam and are processing what they just witnessed. I want you to hear now from, remind me your name, ma'am?
Vanessa Asher.
Vanessa Asher. Vanessa, you were very close to the former president when this happened. Can you describe to me where you were and what you saw?
We were 6 rows back, right in front of his podium, straight back. And he was talking about his chart on this side. And he was looking directly at his chart. And when he went over to this one, that's when he was grazed here. He was shot. And if he would not have looked at his other chart, it probably would have got him in the head.
So he turned his head just in the nick of time.
Yes, he did. He in the nick of time.
And Lester, let me just explain to you, and I want to follow up with you more, Vanessa, but this is what we were talking about earlier. I'll send it back to you, Lester.
I apologize. Things are moving quickly here. We're apparently hearing from the former president himself.
Here we go.
Hallie Jackson has it. Hallie?
It is a new post on his online platform, Truth Social, Lester, in which the former president says, and I will read this in full, because obviously this is the first time that we are now hearing from the former president himself since this incident at his rally in Butler. He says, I want to thank the United States Secret Service and all of law enforcement for their rapid response on the shooting that just took place in Butler, Pennsylvania. Most importantly, the former president continues, I want to extend my condolences to the family of the person at the rally who was killed, and also to the family of another person that was badly injured. He goes on to say, it is incredible that such an act can take place in our country. He also adds, nothing is known at this time about the shooter who is now dead. The former president says he was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. You're looking at that online post now.
Wow.
So confirming, he says that he was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of his right ear. He says, I knew immediately that something was wrong and that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. Much bleeding took place, so I realized then what was happening. And he ends this post by saying, God bless America. So Lester, significant questions that are being answered now from the former president here as to what happened, as to how he's doing, as to his state of mind. And again, significant in that he is describing in rather vivid detail the moment when he says that bullet went through his ear. He heard the whizzing sound. You're seeing some of these images now, including some that are being circulated by his allies with the former president, his fist raised in the air. He said he felt the bullet ripping through the skin with a lot of bleeding taking place. What we don't know now is where the former president, is headed next. We understand that he is obviously getting treated at that local medical facility. We know from his son, and I will tell you from other sources that I've spoken with, that he appears to be in good spirits. That is what folks are being told, and that his son, who has spoken with him directly, says. And you see the former president able to, obviously, in these videos, this image we've been showing, able to move, able to pump his fist, but you see the blood that he's talking about there on his right ear as the former president is describing what happened. Important to note here, he is also, of course, extending condolences to the person who was hurt, the person who was believed to be killed there, and thanking law enforcement for their incredibly fast response. And you saw the response, Lester, in one of these remarkable moments as it unfolded. In some quarters, in some places online, there was a live stream of this happening. Obviously, the cameras of every network in the country were on this, given that he is the presumptive Republican nominee, of course, before this happened. And you see the absolute chaos there in Butler that we've been describing from Dasha, from Jillian, from Jake and Bianca and our teams there as the rest of it unfolded there. So again, Lester, the first statement that we are getting from the former president himself, posted as Donald Trump is wont to do, posted on an online platform there on Truth Social as he's looking to get the message out immediately, as quickly as he can, it appears, to the American people, that he appears to be okay, that he's extending his condolences, and specifically what happened, as he says, that bullet hit his ear, Lester.
Yeah, incredible to look at how close that was to hitting a vital area of him. That first description from the former president himself. Hallie Jackson, thanks very much. Our senior White House correspondent, Kelly O'Donnell, joins us. Kelly, you have a new statement from President Biden.
Hold on.
Another statement.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to go to Garrett Hake right now. Garrett?
Okay.
Lester, in reading that statement from Donald Trump, confirming that, in fact, he was shot in this incident in Butler tonight, I think about the times that I have discussed his safety with members of his campaign over the last year or so. And there has always been tension and awareness in the minds of Donald Trump's campaign staff, even at senior levels, of the risk that he takes every time he goes out. Campaign officials will tell you that he gets an enormous amount of threats, frankly, as many politicians do across the political spectrum. And the campaign has worked across this very long period of time since he first announced more than a year ago that he would be running for president to balance, in some cases, his desire to hold these kind of mega rallies, these huge outdoor events, with his personal safety. They're very cautious about using what is known in the industry as OTR stops, the idea of him appearing at short notice in certain locations where folks cannot necessarily be screened in the same manner that they are by the Secret Service at events like this. And, you know, any presidential campaign thinks about the candidate's safety. It's a major part of the job. You work with the Secret Service for that reason. But this has been front and center in the minds of campaign staffers going back really since before the launch of this campaign. Obviously, an unusual campaign in the sense that here is someone who has never not had Secret Service protection from the moment he was first sworn in 2017 through this moment. And I think looking ahead now, and this is something that we're trying to report out, is what, if anything, is going to change about the Republican convention next week? Obviously, the former president was set to arrive there on Monday morning. He was expected to be in Milwaukee across those 4 days. These conventions, as many of our viewers know, are very much high security situations. Downtowns locked down days in advance, very difficult to go in or out. What will change in the security and what will change in the messaging of this convention? We've already seen some of Donald Trump's allies, perhaps most notably his son, Eric Trump, making use of that image on your screen right now, the fist pump from Donald Trump in the moments after we now know that he was shot, to say that this is the fighter America needs, in the words of Eric Trump and in the words of many of his allies, who I think, you know, setting aside the moment that we're in right now, and especially knowing from the former president's own lips now, or his own fingertips, I suppose, that he's going to be okay. This image of him as a fighter is so central to his political identity, so central to his campaign's strategy, and something that I'm sure will be incorporated into whatever we see of the convention next week. What changes might be taking place right now, Lester, very difficult to say. The campaign is on a complete lockdown, not talking to the press, really working through first what's going on with their candidate and what their next steps will be tomorrow and in the days ahead.
All right, we're looking at a motorcade leaving a nearby hospital that has been under heavy security here since all this happened. We have not received confirmation that former President Trump has been treated there, but we did just see look like a small motorcade leaving the area. So we'll continue to monitor that picture. Garrett, why I have you here? Let's talk about what is likely on the minds of a lot of people. I mean, certainly we're looking at a case where there has been a loss of life. Another spectator has been seriously injured. But this comes as the country and Democrats are still wrestling with the issues over the President Biden's performance in the debate. And now this. I guess it'll take some days to play out as to whether we're looking at another reset and changing how people view this campaign.
I think that's right, Lester, and I think it would be a mistake to speculate on exactly what will go forward now. I can only say where it has come to now, and the campaigns that I've covered in the past, the level of intense focus and scrutiny on this presidential election here in early July is very unusual, especially for an election, I think, that a lot of people had kind of tuned out of. Essentially a battle of two incumbents, two people hugely unpopular outside of their own political bases. There was the questions about whether Joe Biden would continue in this race after that debate performance, a historically early debate, and now an intense focus on Donald Trump, on political violence. We know nothing yet about the shooter or his or her motivations. We know nothing yet about exactly why this event took place, but we know the political climate that we're in has been incredibly heated going back for years. I cover Congress in my other role at this network, and the threat level in Congress has been a huge boost over the last several years by several factors over more threats against members. So the political environment has changed in that sense, and the heat is turned up to a level that we're just not used to seeing in the summer, which is often the doldrums of a presidential campaign. The Veep stakes speculation is typically the kind of thing that folks in my business are talking about right now. News only for the most dialed in of the political viewers out there. Now, all of a sudden, we're talking about what appears to be what is being investigated as, according to our reporting, as an attempt on the life of a nominee or soon-to-be nominee of the presidency of the United States. The phrase that we are in uncharted waters is completely worn out, Lester, but here we find it once again, perhaps the most appropriate way to view our political dynamic.
It certainly says it in so many ways. Thank you, Garrett. Let's bring in our senior Washington correspondent, Hallie Jackson. You've received a statement from the Secret Service. What are they saying right now?
Yeah, a new statement now putting on the record officially, Lester, what our team has been able to report out from their sources over the course of the last 2 hours or so. I will read it in full here because it's important to note what the Secret Service is saying, that during the rally in Butler tonight at around 6:15 p.m., they say a suspected shooter fired multiple shots toward the stage from an elevated position outside of the rally venue. They say that Secret Service personnel neutralized the shooter, who is now deceased. The Secret Service quickly responded with protective measures, and the former president is safe and being evaluated. The Secret Service spokesperson goes on to say that one spectator was killed, two spectators were critically injured, so badly hurt. The incident is currently under investigation, and the Secret Service has formally notified the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And obviously the FBI and the Secret Service have plenty more work to do here on this front. But Lester, again, significant in that this is the official confirmation that, as we have been reporting here, the suspected shooter here is dead. Two people have been badly hurt. One person was killed here in a moment that is reverberating not just in the political world, but around the country. And I will tell you, around the world, with international reaction coming in from world leaders. I want to also share with you some reaction coming in from the former president's daughter, Ivanka Trump, who is posting now in just the last couple of minutes that she is thanking people for their love and prayers for her father and for other victims of today's senseless violence in Butler, Pennsylvania. She says she's grateful to the Secret Service, to law enforcement officers. She continues to pray for our country, ending by saying, "I love you, Dad," again from Ivanka Trump, today and always, Lester.
All right, Hallie, thank you. For our viewers just joining us as we near the top of the hour, we're on the air with breaking news. We have been for several hours now following the events involving a shooting.
Yes. So again, guys, I am, I think just like everybody else, okay, it doesn't matter on what side of the spectrum that you stand on, one side of the aisle that you're on. This is just shocking news. This is all very, very shocking, mind-blowing news that Trump someone attempted to try to take his life. Now, the thing is that T said something that's a good question, right? Could there have been more people? Could there have been more assailants? Did he only operate alone? Now, I know that there's a name circulating out here in these streets, right? I know that there's a lot of a name that's trickling out here in these streets. There is no confirmation or not whether that is the actual person or not. So I'm not going to say this person's name on here because there's a lot of, people like to put things out. Trolls like to put out things that are not true, or put somebody's name out there that had nothing to do with it, but may have said some things online, about Trump that, hateful things about Trump or something like that. I don't know what it is. All I know is that nothing's been confirmed about the name, about the person who actually is the assailant. He has not been identified by the news as of yet. I'm sure that's coming very, very soon. And when it does, we will talk about it, right? But nonetheless, this is just a scary situation no matter what. Okay. A person that is, on his campaign trail trying to be reelected as the president of these United States, his life was threatened in a very public way, so much that there is someone who lost their life, okay, an innocent bystander, an innocent rally onlooker, somebody who's there just in the audience that's a supporter of him, lost their life. Another person is fighting for their life, fighting for their lives inside a hospital right now as we speak. I have not heard anything as of any news in regards to what happened to this person, if they are how they're what the kind of injury that they do have, or if they are going to survive their injuries. All I know is that they're in critical condition right now and fighting for their life. Nonetheless, none of this should have happened. Period. None of this should have happened. This is a very tragic and heartbreaking situation. And you also got to remember, people go to these rallies with their kids. Families go to these rallies. All that stuff. Kids are seeing this stuff. You see what I'm saying? It's not just adults, and it doesn't even matter. Still, it's lives that are hanging at the balance right now because of somebody who wanted to take matters into their own hands, right? And rid the world of this particular person. That's still extremely terrible. Like I say, and I'm going to keep saying it till I'm blue in the face, violence is not the answer, okay? And now you got kids, family, etc., that are deeply, deeply traumatized by this. Now, I don't know. Did Biden come back? Did he forget that he already spoke before? Let's see.
To the telephone. Look, there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's
okay. We already saw this. They're just repeating it again. Michelle, thank you so much for the super chat. Sorry, the Secret Service failed. This should have never happened. I feel like something happened. Like he was on the outskirts of the perimeter, which is weird to me, guys. Which is weird because you'd think that they would make sure everything's locked down, right? Everything, even the perimeters, and apparently that was not locked down. I am wondering, right? I am wondering quite a bit about that. All right, because that's not good. Okay, that's no bueno. And yeah, who said that? Sadie B. Someone's gonna get fired for sure. Oh, without a doubt, for sure. Somebody about to get fired. Okay. Corinne. Sorry, Corinne. Thank you so much. Do they know if the security is the one who outed the assailant? I don't know. All I know is that apparently they said, and this is from one of the reports, they said that through the radio, they basically said the assailant is down, right? So we'll see. What comment am I supposed to be reading? T's comment above. Where? Let me see. Hold on. I'm looking where? Hold on. There's a lot of comments in here, guys. So, I'm reading as best as I can all of these comments as they whiz by. Where is it? Anyone notice the lady to the right of Trump holding her cell phone up to record instead of taking cover? No, I didn't see that. I might have to play that again. You also got to remember though too, people react different. If something happens so fast, maybe they don't even know that shots are being fired. They just think that, oh, Trump's being weird and it could be a cool viral moment. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. You realize, you notice that everybody just pulls out their phone no matter what. And it could be like World War, it could be, absolute pandemonium. Okay. Hell on earth live. And they'll still pull out their phone and try to film it at best, as best as they can, because they're thinking, oh, this is going to be a viral moment. You know what I mean? So I don't know. You know what I mean? About that. All right. They're saying that they're saying that the assailant was about 200 to 300 away from it. I guess yards, or feet or yards. That's the one thing I want to know, because damn, because if he was far out, I mean, like I said, his accuracy would be a little bit more difficult, right? It'd be more and more difficult, the further out he gets. So I am kind of curious as to where he was exactly. But still, no matter what, this is crazy. Okay. Yards. Okay. 200 to 300 yards. Right. So that's still that's pretty far out. Right. And then also you got to remember, that's a couple football fields. Right. So, if you're trying to think of that, it's like 3 to 4 football fields away. Right. That's quite a bit away. That's a bit away. So accuracy goes down, right? It just diminishes as you get further back, right? I mean, anybody who shot a pew knows exactly what I'm talking about, right? And then you put in all those other factors like wind, so on and so forth, the actual level in which you are, on, like how high up you are, how low you are, what your angle is, so on and so forth. There's so many different things that are factored in before you actually pull the trigger that actually add to more difficulty in hitting your target. And it looks like that's the kind of situation that happened here, right? We don't know if this person was a skilled, somebody just said marksman, exactly, Susu, like a skilled marksman. We don't know that. We don't know how skilled this person is. We don't know if they just bought, a pew and they just took a Hail Mary shot. You never know. You never know. So we're going to find out very, very soon, because you got to remember, and then you also got to wonder how many other, there was more than just one shot that rang out from that assailant, because 2 people were hit. So he shot more than once. More than one bullet came out of that gun when he pulled that trigger. So like I said, this is very interesting. Let's hear a little bit of this just to see.
Here trying to get out of this venue. There were thousands of cars parked all across these lawns here. Now that's cleared up, but we did speak to some of the people who have been making their way out, people who witnessed this absolute tragedy. And I want to introduce you to some folks who kindly pulled their vehicle over for us so that we could speak with them. This is Stacy and Vanessa. And as you said, Lester, the former president now posted on Truth Social describing how he was shot in his ear, grazed by a bullet in his right ear. Well, Vanessa was right there. You both were right in front of the former president when this happened. Can you describe what you witnessed?
Yes, we were 6 rows back, straight in front of him, and at his podium, we could see him really good. He was talking about his chart, and he moved his head to the right to explain where they're at in the chart. And then as he moved his head to look at the chart up on the screen, that's when he got grazed in the ear. If he had not moved his head at that nick of time, it could have been a lot worse.
So he moved his head just in the right moment to get an ear graze instead of something.
Yes.
And Lester, let me just explain to you briefly, because we were on the press risers as the former president was starting his speech at the rally. He was only a few minutes in. What Vanessa is referring to when she's talking about those charts, he was talking about immigration and immigration under the Biden administration. He had screens on the left and the right of him, behind him, and he was pointing to one of those screens where he had a chart that was detailing immigration rates, and he turned to point to that chart, and that is when his ear was grazed, and you've seen this on the video. But to Vanessa's point, if he hadn't made that turn to show that chart, things could have been a lot different. Vanessa, where you were when you first heard those shots ring out, what went through your mind and what happened with you and the people around you?
At first, I didn't know if they were firecrackers. There were 6 pops. It just went pop, 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 pop. And then as I was staring straight ahead, I looked across and I didn't see anything. So I looked back at President Trump, and that's when he went down. And then
what ran through your mind?
That, we are all in a situation that we could be very hurt. And they're telling us to all get down, stay down. And then a lot of things went through my mind. Where's my husband? What about the 3 people that we met today beside us? Who else could be injured? Why did this happen at President Trump's rally? I mean, a lot of things went through my head. Are we going to be out of here safe?
What are you? I mean, you are safe, thank goodness, and I'm so glad you are. And I'm so sorry that we're meeting under these circumstances. As you sit here in your car now, trying to process all of this, what are you feeling now?
I just want to go home. I just want to go home. I'm glad that President Trump is okay. I worry about the children that were at the rally and how traumatized they are after witnessing all this. Little girl that was a couple rows ahead of us, she was petrified. And what's going through her mind, is she going to be okay, or is she going to have, nightmares, or, I worry about children. I worry about the people that lost their loved ones today. And I most certainly worry about my President Trump.
Vanessa,
we're okay.
I'm so glad you're okay. Vanessa, Stacey, thank you so much. And please, you deserve to go home. You deserve to get some rest now. And I hope you drive safe. And thank you so much. They've been here.
Now, again, she made a lot of really strong points here. A lot of things I just mentioned earlier, real talk. I mean, of course, we are, we got to think about the kids, families, loved ones that were all there that are going to be deeply traumatized by this whole situation nonetheless. Now, you guys are talking about this BBC interview. So I pulled up the BBC interview. I'm going to pull this up right now so we can check this out together as a family. Please, guys, do me a favor, real quick. Grace, thank you. And I'm glad Jordana had enjoyed me singing happy birthday to her yesterday. And I hope she had a great time at her birthday party. I'm sure she got everything she wanted, and happiest of birthdays to her again. Hopefully it was great for her. But BBC had an interview. I want to pull this up really, really quick. Hopefully I got the right one. If I don't, then I'm going to have to show this to you guys on another time. But let's take a look at this.
Have been fired at this
shots have been
rally.
Fired.
Now this
is obviously not it, but let me scroll through because I think it's right here. Are y'all talking about this one right here? This ish right here? Let's go and check it out. All right. Let's check it out. Please don't forget to hit that like button down below. Crush it, please, and thank you. Don't forget to crush that subscribe button. Subscribe. I'll be giving you guys updates on this particular situation very, very soon. As soon as we get more updates or new things, new developments revolving around this situation, we will be talking about it, okay? Know the guy with the orange hair. Let's see. I'm going to scroll through this. I don't see anybody with orange hair, but nonetheless, I'm going to go in. I'm going to play this one, though, because if I find that one, I'll find it, and then we'll play it another time. Okay, but let me play this one.
On to that stage. Let's cross to our colleagues in Washington.
And all of a sudden, from my left, we heard a bunch of shots, and people started running towards us, so we just took off. People were, running, tripping, falling, and we just ran until we were across the street behind the building.
Did you see anyone hit at all?
No, but I spoke with my mom on the phone, and I think from what I understand, they got him. I don't know.
We can't confirm that at this stage at all.
But
could you tell where the shooting was coming from? Was it from the
coming
crowd or from outside of the crowd?
I think it was like one of these buildings back here.
Right. So you think it was coming from higher up, possibly?
Behind the fences, yeah.
Okay. And what was the atmosphere like in the crowd at that moment when it started?
Panic.
Did people start running?
Yeah.
Right.
And they were
Very
running
upsetting.
and tripping over each other, and yeah.
Yeah. And do you know, did the police move in pretty quickly?
From what I saw, yeah. There were police officers in the field, like right beyond the fence, and they took off immediately. So
I found the redhead guy. So I'm going to play that for you guys right now. Okay. So allegedly, let's see. This is from hold on, let me grab this tweet. It says a BBC interviewer with a Trump supporter who saw the assailant with a rifle crawling up a roof before the actual incident, serious security shortcoming, if the account is correct, and elevated positions with clear fields of fire weren't monitored. Now, that's very interesting. So let me play this one. And this is the one I think you guys are talking about. So let's rock and roll.
Someone who was here, you weren't inside the event, but you were just outside. Tell us what you saw.
So we had a party here all day. You can see behind us at the Brinkles Farm and Greenhouse here. We had a party. And we all decided, hey, when we hear Trump up there, we're going to walk up through the field, stand by the trees up there under the shade, and watch and listen to the rally, right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, but we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, and we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle. We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely.
Okay.
We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for 2 or 3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up
you
there.
saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
And
you were telling the police and the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at them for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way that the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? This is not a big place.
Did you see, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh, yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay.
Oh,
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay.
damn. Okay. Well, he said what he said. All right. Well, we knew that was going to happen, right? That was inevitable.
Just be careful, because we don't quite know who's watching, but you're pretty sure they shot the guy?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
It's incredibly shocking.
The guy was on the roof right there. You can see the white roof right there.
Did you get a look at him? Could you?
No, other than he was in muted colors, tan type clothing. We saw the rifle flinging around as he was trying to crawl. We saw the rifle, 100%.
That's insane, right? And that's really scary. They saw him getting up there. They saw him with everything. They warned police. They said, hey, guys, what's up with that over there? What's up with that guy over there? There's a guy over there. Something's going on. It doesn't look right. He's climbing the thing. He's putting things up. What's going on here? And nothing happened. No extra precautions. No nothing, guys. That's crazy. We got a little bit.
Do you know about guns? Do you know what kind of weapon it was?
Oh, I absolutely know about guns, for sure. It was a rifle of some sort. I wouldn't know, I wasn't close enough to read the label on it,
Sure. But
it was a rifle of some sort. Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you process what you've just seen?
I don't know what to say, man. All I'll tell you is, if I walked up close to there with anything that Secret Service considered a problem, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you right now. But I don't know why a guy who we're standing there pointing out to police and Secret Service is crawling up the roof. Yes, right there by that tree. We were outside the security perimeter. But my question is, there's only a few buildings around here. Why is Secret Service not on every building here?
Well, there's a whole bunch of questions, I think, that are going to come.
There's a whole bunch of questions.
Yeah. Here comes the boom, y'all. Here comes the moment where everybody, and of course, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to sit here and speculate that this was an inside job, that this was a whole, set up to, blah, blah, blah. I don't know about all that. All I know is that there are certain things, certain protocol that it sounds like they did not do thoroughly, possibly from security, Secret Service, and all that. That's crazy that this is a candidate for these United States. And he even mentioned, he's like, hey, there's only a few buildings around this area. Why wasn't there heavy security on those buildings just to make sure? And they're on the outside perimeter of where this rally was being held. That's crazy, guys. That's absolutely crazy. You know, there is definitely something, okay? This is definitely something that needs to be. Oh yeah, and let's not forget the former president of the United States and a candidate for presidency in 2024, okay? But at the same time, wow, the fact that there was lack of security checks, the lack of bodies, of security being over there, having men and women, just security out there, just surveying the areas to make sure that somebody's not crawling up on a damn roof. Okay? That's crazy, guys. There's gonna be some people are gonna get fired. People are gonna get fired. Period. But let's continue on.
Yes, she was right in front of me. She kept going back and forth right in front of me. Yes.
Tell us about her.
I mean, nice horse, nice lady running with a flag. Seemed very, patriotic.
But what's the significance of her?
No, he asked me if I saw a horse.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I'm sorry you had to witness that.
No doubt. I think I'm sorry for anybody who had to witness any of this stuff. Okay. Because like I said, this is all very tragic. No matter what side of the political spectrum that you stand on, this is absolutely a travesty. It is a travesty. Violence is not the answer. This is not how we do things, period. But as this is America. We're used to these kinds of things where people resort to pulling triggers rather than having conversations or using their voice, right? Making their opinions heard, whatever it may be, right? Seeking the right kind of therapy, whatever it may be, right? This is the world that we live in, unfortunately. And that account is insane, that there is no hurried concern when somebody or a group of people say, hey, there's a dude literally climbing a building and getting on a rooftop, and they got a long rifle in their hands. Sup with that? You maybe want to investigate that because something's not right there. Doesn't look like one of your, Secret Service guys. Doesn't look like one of your security guys. Doesn't look like one of these suited and booted dudes. It looks like a regular ass dude with a long rifle. Can you go and look into that? And they don't do anything about it. And then next thing you know, you got something that happened to Trump like this. This is not good. It's no bueno. And like I said, there's going to be an investigation, an internal investigation, I'm sure, as far as the protocol and what they did not do, who was spearheading the security for the outside perimeter of the rally. Not only just internal, external as well. Like I said, this is a very scary time. It's a very scary situation because this could get anybody enticed to want to try to do this to any political leader. Remember that, to any political leader. But I hope that's not the case here. I really do. My heart goes out to all the injured, the family that has just lost a loved one. Speedy recovery to everyone that has been victimized by this tragedy. We just live in some scary times, guys. We really do live in some scary times, and we need to find better ways to talk things out or deal with disagreements. Everything's so polarizing. Absolutely. But there's got to be a better way to be able to talk things through without it being so filled with venom and vitriol. I feel that it's more than just a political thing. It bleeds out even into the true crime realm. You either are on one side or the other. You can't just be someone trying to find out the truth or wait for the results, wait for the verdict or something of that sort. Everything has to have, you are either team East or team West. That's it. You team Trump, you team Biden. That's it. It's frustrating. And it's a cancer It's causing a cancer in this country. That's what I truly feel. And I'm hoping at some point we start to find a way to heal as a country, because it's getting volatile. It's been volatile for a very long time. We need a new way to express ourselves and alleviate some of this terrible, terrible tension. Again, my heart goes out to the families, friends of these victims. Speedy recovery to the victims. Speedy recovery to former President Trump as well. And we'll see what happens. As more information trickles out, I'll be giving you guys updates about it as well. All right. We need to find a new way to express ourselves in a better, more diplomatic fashion. We also need to learn to agree to disagree. Oh my God. Do we ever need to learn to agree to disagree and be able to have a conversation without actually yelling at each other like children in a playground? We do. I know that this won't be a wake-up call for our country, but I do hope that this does spark something in each and every single one of us, realizing that we are better than this. And we need to have an opportunity to understand that not everybody is going to agree with what we think, and vice versa. We'll see what happens here. As time goes on, as information trickles, I will let you guys know about more of this information. Trust and believe. All right. We will be talking about it more and more as more information comes out. Once we get the ID of this assailant, we will talk about it and all that. So keep your eyes open. Make sure you are around, because we are going to be covering this, because this is a tragedy for sure. I just hope this doesn't expand into something more volatile. Anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really does mean a lot. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you. Again, thank you so, so very much. All right. Prayers to all those who are affected by this situation. Oh, Bonnie, shoot. Thank you so much for being the highest in the room. Thank you. And thank you for your coverage. Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to watch and listen. That means a lot. Okay. But if you haven't done it yet, please do me a favor. Please do me a favor. I can't talk now, but thank you so much. Do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Don't forget to do that. Crush that reaction button if you're watching on Facebook or on these other platforms that I'm streaming live on. If you are on those other platforms, please be sure to follow me on Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Follow me on all those platforms. That would mean the world to me. Don't forget to subscribe right here on my main channel, The Pascal Show. Go over to my secondary channel, all right? The Pascal Show clips. Go check that out. There'll be clips from this live over there as well. Starting later on tonight, I'll be uploading a couple of those tonight over there. So please go check it out. Be a part of that family over there as well. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Support the channel if you can. I know a couple people became members today. I appreciate that. And also, if you just want to support even further, go to patreon.com/The Pascal Show. It's in the ticker down below right now as we speak. We had something else planned to talk about today. I'm going to be moving that to tomorrow morning. So be on the lookout for our conversation covering the Madeline Soto case. Don't forget, we got some paperwork we got to get through, some documents, and some crazy stuff revolving around that. So we will be talking about that tomorrow, unless there's new developing information revolving around this crazy situation that happened in Pennsylvania at the Trump rally. It's crazy. But anyway, guys, be sure to hit that notification bell as well. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload. That'll be greatly appreciated, okay? But anyway, guys, I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really does mean a lot. You guys are all incredible. Every single last one of y'all. All right? I appreciate you guys and your energy and your spirit. Thank you so much for being here. I'll be talking to you guys soon. Stay up, stay positive, and do something positive for the rest of the afternoon, for the rest of the evening, okay? and send a prayer out to all the victims of this situation, okay? Anyway, guys, it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. We'll talk soon. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.